What's going on, everybody? Welcome to tonight's broadcast of the ACL. We are coming at you live with week number 2 of the spring split, where we have Team Samsara making their ACL debut, facing off against Four Twinks and their father. I see we're censoring this in all our announcements now, so maybe I'm going to get fined for saying the full team name, but we let it into the league, so I'm standing by it. I'm Gordo. This is Quacks. Welcome back, Quacks, for week number 2.
It's good to be here, and yeah, honestly, Gordo, it's not on you. I don't think you're going to get fined. They allowed the name, right? So if anything, I think we should just collectively punish the players for coming up with this name, except for the father, of course, because he can't control his unruly kids. But anyway, yeah, this is an exciting matchup, like you said, for Team Samsara. It's their debut. A bunch of players that we know and who I think have made a big splash in the scene over the course of the last year or so are on this team, along with a few names that we've seen for a long time. We'll get into those really quickly, but I think the blend of new talent that has really sprouted up with veterancy that has kind of just floated around the scene for a little bit does make this team a really interesting concoction at the end of the day. And then Four Twinks and their father have a similar kind of roster build, but are definitely better on that synergy front. I think that some players have been, known to play together for a really long time, and these are players that have obviously been in the scene for a really long time. So that experience factor, I think, definitely going to work in their favor as the season goes on.
Absolutely. And let's start off with the Four Twinks lineup here. We've got them on this graphic at the very least. It is going to be Alorum, BB, Frozen Titan, War Cyclone, and GFP. So some of the, some of Aegis classics here. Players who've been in ACL week in, week out, split in, split out for a very long time. Some of them playing together, some of them playing on separate teams, but always able to perform very well. A ton of ACL playoffs appearances across this lineup. And very excited to see how they're going to be able to gel together. Particularly BB, a player I have my eyes on ever since he was playing with that Apex Mission Impossible lineup during that short period at the end of last split. He did very well there. He was doing very well beforehand. I think he's a little bit on the come up right now. He's going to be a player I'm looking at to really kind of push this team into the next level and out of that kind of third seed pool where they find themselves out of seeding committee.
No, BB definitely also has to, I imagine, have a bit of a chip on his shoulder, Gordo, because you were talking about that Apex Mission Impossible lineup. Those guys are now in the NACL with a new jungler. So I think his
new old
need
jungler
and his want, has an old jungler. And I think his need and his want to kind of prove himself and get toward that level where his former teammates are now definitely is going to motivate him to try here in this ACL, to climb up in that ACL and to be on that come up. As you mentioned, another player, though, that I do want to shout out a little bit for on this team is War Cyclone. I think while we're talking about players on the come up and people that have impressed us personally, I think that he has been a really solid AD carry, and it'll be interesting to see how he gels with GFP, who is definitely role swapped here and there. This is like the third position I feel like I've seen him in over the course of the last year and a half or so.
Absolutely here. Definitely been jumping around a fair bit, and very excited to see how he is going to be able to do with the rest of this lineup. But let's check on out who's going to be facing them on the opposite side. It's going to be Team Samsara. This team is Kappa, Aeon, Toothbooth, Heretic, and Love Ego from top to bottom. So some veterans here that have definitely been in plenty of ACLs before, but also some faces that we're maybe a little bit less familiar with, Quacks.
And even players like Aeon Crystal, who I think have been around for like a year and a half, his last 6 months, his last 9 months have been super explosive. I think that this is a guy who impressed a lot of faces at that Cyto Combine that happened toward the end of 2025. He was against a lot of really high-end junglers, a lot of junglers that were also on the come-up, and he managed to have pretty decent performances against them. So I do think that this is also a player similar to BB that we have to keep our eyes on, one that really wants to get to that next level, because he has played with and against players at that next level, and just wanting to match their level, I think, has to be an itch that he is desiring raring to scratch here. Heretic as well showed up in a number of combines toward the latter half of 2025, early 2026, and definitely impressed a lot of people, myself included. So these are the players I'm definitely looking at. Similar to Four Twinks and their father, it's the jungler, it's the AD carry for both teams that I think is going to be the most interesting matchup. But everywhere else on this team, Samsara, you've got the veterancy from Toothbooth and Love Ego. Kappa is a bit of an unknown, so I'm interested to see how he'll match up against Alorum, who I think has definitely been a bit of a gatekeeper. This is a guy who I think if you want to break into that next level, you have to be better than, and if you aren't, you might be right where you belong. So it's a good litmus test for a lot of these new top laners going up against an experienced player like Alorum, who in his own right is very skilled, but has his own style of tanks and of weak siders that will still beat the crap out of you if he ends up being better than you.
Yeah, I totally agree there. So I mean, kind of a pseudo debut for Kappa here, who we haven't gotten to see too much of. Definitely coming in as a bit of an unknown, and Heretic to some degree as well, right? I heard some of the whisperings around Combine season with this guy, so definitely excited to see him. But a player that I haven't gotten to see a lot of with my own eyes. I missed out on a lot of Combine season this last off season, just the way things ended up. Eon Crystal completely agree on the rise up, and then Toothbooth and Love Ego also kind of interesting positions. They bounced around from team to team, but haven't quite been able to make that big run. Haven't quite been able to make like a deep promotion tournament run, or a deep open qualifier run, or a deep ACL playoffs run, or anything like that. The kind of things that usually start to get you into our more daily household vocabulary if you're a big tier 3, tier 2 person around NA and the NACL. Could be the change here, though. This could be the opportunity as Team Samsara comes in and as a Pool 2 team, expected to do very, very well in this group. And this is going to be their debut. Their week 1 was against U Chicago, who unfortunately did have to drop from the league and have now forfeit against everybody, Four Twinks included. So.
Right, and Four Twinks and their father also have the one win that they got from you of Chicago's FF. Their week 1 was against Conviction Star, who is one of the top teams in the entirety of the ACL, and they got 0-2'd. So definitely an interesting start for both of these teams, and I do think we are not nearly as informed on these squads as the records or the score lines might show us. So it'll be interesting to kind of carve out, discover what both of these teams are capable of when on paper, and like they were seeded, that you mentioned, Gordo, they are very close in the seeding. So it should make for an interesting and very close series as we are onto the bans now. A lot of junglers already being taken off the table. We do see the Rek'Sai probably a preferential ban just over toward BB, who we know likes to get stuff started immediately. Pantheon also going to be taken away. You still have the Orianna and the Nocturne up, though. I think that this has kind of been the premier 1-2 if you can get your hands on it. And then Varus as well, also still up. So a lot of strong champions are still accessible for both these teams. That Varus is going to be banned away, but the Orianna is up. If we do see that locked in, that I imagine Four Twinks might just steal away the Nocturne and look for a mid laner of their own.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have gotten a lot more comfortable in recent kind of months just taking that Nocturne separate from the Orianna, feeling a lot stronger on it, and it's become a pretty valuable strategy and a good thing to have, in your back pocket if a draft situation like this does arrive. Speaking of draft situations, we are toying around with first selection. This split of the ACL may not have been very clear in week number 1, but
yeah, guys, red side's picking first.
Yeah, with our locked-in group stage for match number 1, we kind of predetermine who gets first pick and who gets which side, but it's variable week to week, and then the loser will get first selection as per, normal series rules from there on out. Anyway, Toothbooth going to be on the Orianna this game. We would like to see BB take away this Nocturne, try to avoid giving up the duo if they do, have that respect for it, and then they kind of have their pick of the litter. They're going to take this Karma. That's going over in towards GFP. And yeah, War Cyclone is an Ezreal enjoyer. Has also played a lot of the other duos that will go well with something like Karma. Has played some Caitlyn. We've seen some Caitlyn Karma in and around. I think Ezreal's the default, though, for sure.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think that there's kind of a trifecta of bot laners. It's the Ezreal Karma, the Ashe Seraphine, and the Nami Corki that have really ruled over the bot lane for the longest time. Those are the big duos. Varus just stands alone. My man is overpowered. He doesn't need no support to back him up. He's good with all of them. But yeah, Karma Ezreal also is pretty decent into the Orianna Nocturne if Samsara decide to go for that Nocturne, simply because the Arcane Shift can get you out of some of those precarious situations, can make it more difficult to lock onto you. And if, like you said, War Cyclone is really good, really proficient on this Ezreal, he should be able to at the very least play against this jungle mid combo. But that doesn't say anything about what the bot lane of Team Samsara might decide to go for instead if they decide to counter the Ezreal Karma with something of their own in the lane itself. So Nocturne going to eventually be denied, but Karma picked up here does mean Team Samsara could steal away the Ezreal. It kind of just feels like a game of chess at this point right now. Gordo, you take one pairing away, we'll take the other pairing away.
Yeah, I do think this breaks the mold of the Nocturne Orianna a little bit, though, in that I don't know how valuable just like taking Ezreal into Karma is on its own. You're now going to weaken whatever your Ezreal pairing is going to be. It's not really going to win you the lane. It's just going to give you a little bit of a opportunity to play a little bit safer. And the Karma has other stuff that it can pair with, right? The Karma can play alongside Caitlyn. It can play alongside. I've seen stuff like the Lucian. The Ashe is fine. Yeah, you just play it alongside like other long range bot laners or fighty bot lanes, and just come on out with a winning bot lane. So we'll see if Team Samsara actually wants to prioritize that for War Cyclone, or if they'll just kind of take their bot lane a little bit later. Is this going to be a blind Scion? Interesting to see that taken against Alorum. It feels like Alorum bread and butter right there, but Kappa going to try to snap up a little Scion up against our resident tank top laner in Alorum.
Yeah, and this is also pretty okay blind in my opinion, because 4 Twinks and their father already showed the jungler. So unless Alorum really wants to go for like a Trundle top, I don't imagine that is going to be accessible for 4 Twinks and their father because of that Nocturne lock-in. So I think it is an appropriate blind for the time being. Doesn't solve the issue though that without the Nocturne and with also a bunch of these really big engaged junglers taken off the board, the Jarvan most notably, there really isn't a good ball deliverer right now. And I think that Team Samsara want to try and get that here on 3 before more of those really good champions that are paired with the Orianna get banned away in the second phase. And frankly, just gives you more attention to pay toward that bot lane where you can get a favorable 2v2 potentially up against this Karma and whatever it's going to be paired with. We said that Ezreal, but as you mentioned, Gordo, there are plenty of other champions that this character can go bot lane with.
Yeah, I think the Xin Zhao pretty standard fare for Aeon Crystal. He's always gone for this. He's got a strong pool of meta stable junglers. Would have surprised me to see him take much of anything else here, especially with the bans that have already come on through. The Jarvan, the Pantheon, both going to be off the table. The Nocturne already taken away. I think 4 Twinks are probably indexed into an Ezreal here. I think you probably want to take that duo while you can get it. It will get banned away if you don't take it here, and that's just going to make things a little bit easier for Samsara. This does then mean that you can defend this Scion even further, really set Kappa up for a favorable first matchup here up against Alorum, because while this guy is a big-time tank player, there are some anti-tank tanks that exist out there. The Cho'Gath does well in a lot of these matchups. Ooh. The Tom Kench, something that we've seen Alorum bust out already this split, just 1 series in. He could go for something like that as well if he wants to play the lane a little bit more aggressively. But the Victor for Titan, gonna be the lock-in instead, and they're willing to tank an Ezreal ban if that's what Samsara throw out.
And I think this is a really interesting pickup, to be honest with you, for a Frozen Titan, because we're looking at the side of Team Samsara, and this is shaping up to be a dive comp, right? You've got the Orianna, you've got the Xin Zhao and the Sion. Like, these are all champions that want to go forward. And so I was going to maybe shout out some mid laners that could help with the disengage, right? If you want to go for the Ezreal, I think that sets up really nicely for having a bunch of range, especially combined the Ezreal Karma with the Nocturne Q. Like, that gives you a bunch of poke. And then if you can pair it up with something like a Syndra or even like a Talon Dahlia. I think that gives you a lot of disengage, makes it difficult for Samsara to get on top of you. This Victor, though, I'm a little worried about. You've got no mobility. You don't have a ton of self-peel. You are very vulnerable in the laning phase, especially when you factor in that Xin Zhao is a champion that wants to get on the map early. So I think a Frozen Titan is going to have to be really careful how he plays this laning phase, because although he'll be able to match Orianna, like in that poke department, they'll be able to kind of go blow for blow. You know, the ball will be hitting, the lasers will be hitting. It doesn't really give you that safety for yourself in the lane, and it doesn't really give you that safety outside of the lane that your team might need. So now I think the rest of Four Twinks and their father have to over-index into that peel if the poke comp is in fact something that they want.
Yeah, I think that's a great point in that the dive from Samsara really going to become an issue for this Victor, maybe less so for the Ezreal, or I guess most Ezreal-shaped thing they can find, assuming that Samsara does try to ban it away here. But, you know, your mobility options are going to end up a little bit more limited. Your disengage options are probably going to be a fair bit limited as well, unless, you know, Alorum does go for something like that Tom Kench and give you that extra layer of survivability. But certainly does feel like Samsara coming away from round one with a little bit of an edge here. They ban away that Caitlyn. I really expect that Ezreal to come through next.
Yeah.
Really try to prevent that range advantage from coming on through. And then, you know, bot lane as necessary. I think having a diving support against the Karma often can find you a little bit more bitten, but we will find out based on these bans, because Nami already taken off the board, and maybe something like the Bard going to be shortly to follow.
I think unless it's banned away, Team Samsara would probably be wise to go for the Sivir. I mean, if your objective is to be getting on top of these champions, and they're pretty damn immobile, I think that On the Hunt has a ton of value in the mid to late game, and also just gives you a good way of fighting back against this Karma. We're expecting Karma to be paired up with another poke-esque AD carry, so Sivir is pretty good at dealing with that, not just offensively and being able to hit back, but also with that spell shield in being able to escape the clutches of Four Twinks and their father, who are pretty lackluster on the crowd control department right now. I mean, you do have the point and click tether from Carmen, you do have the point and click fear from the Nocturne, but this really only becomes a big factor in the laning phase. Doesn't really say much outside the laning phases. Those are going to be hard to actually stick onto a proper target once Team Samsara are grouped up. So, I mean, I'm advocating for the Sivir here for Team Samsara. I think if you pair it up with a Rel, it helps you in the later stages of the game, or like another engage support helps you in the later stages of the game, but it does kind of tank that early game a little bit, like you mentioned, Gordo. And then I think the reciprocal is true. If you go for a support that is more there to facilitate the backline rather than go for an engage, it makes it easier for the laning phase, but makes the late game a little bit more difficult. So it's a bit of just what do Team Samsara actually prefer to go for?
Yeah, I mean, I also wonder if you try to get something that can go a little bit more of both ways. Maybe like a Braum, maybe something.
Like a Rakan, maybe?
Yeah, I think the Bard kind of falls into that territory too a little bit, depending on how comfortable Love Ego is on the pick. If you do want to go for something, you know, that can do a little bit of an engage, but a little bit of disengage, you know, play at a range in the bottom lane, but still have the ability to get started later. Sivir ban is quite interesting, so they're definitely not concerned about an Ezreal here. Maybe there's still a chance that Samsara take it away right here, although it is not their pick. It is still Four Twinks' pick.
Yeah, I think Four Twinks should just go Ezreal here. I mean, unless there's like some AD carry that you have that has like a little bit more lockdown, I feel like you should be playing into the narrative that you are a poke comp. And then I think that gives Alorum a pretty easy job of just, all right, be a meat shield, be our tank, and don't let them get on top of us, which is kind of Alorum's entire MO. Like, this is the playstyle that he has kind of built for himself over the past couple of years, kind of in and of around the tier 3 scene, where he just wants to be kind of the bodyguard, the bouncer for all of these zoomers. So we are going to see the Cho'Gath here actually come through. This will most likely be an Alorum special. Pretty good into Sion in the laning phase, does interrupt his charge, and also the Feast is really good against tanks due to the true damage that it does, but its biggest role is going to have to be kind of being the middleman between both of these teams and making sure that Samsara can't achieve that dive.
I called out this Cho'Gath earlier. I mean, Alorum does, you know, like to play these kind of tanks that are good at other tanks when he gets the chance to do so. If anything, I would call this kind of more of his comfort zone. If playing Sion into Renekton and Aatrox and Gnar and whatever other garbage everybody always picks into it isn't, then it's definitely getting to play some of the spicier picks up against these tanks. I think it's a great selection for him. It's going to give him a strong laning phase, especially up against a inexperienced opponent like Kappa here. And now, I mean, the Ezreal's just been forgotten, baby.
Yeah, like are we giving like are we like gonna give War Cyclone something crazy, or like I'm super confused here. Like, are we gonna do like a Twitch or something like that? Like, I genuinely don't know. But Samsara on the other side gonna pick away the Corki. Nami was banned, and that is kind of the big perennial pairing with Corki. I also do really worry about this champion in the laning phase, because already we've kind of painted a picture of Karma being paired up with another poke heavy 80 carry. This is what Corki hates to play against. Because of his short range, he really will only have those rockets to return fire, and that means he'll be really susceptible in the laning phase, just getting choked out and poked out. And then on top of that, you don't get a lot of priority over for Xin Zhao. So if Xin Zhao ever wants to make like aggressive invades happen, wants to prevent that level 6 Nocturne from getting level 6 as soon as possible, he's not going to be able to do that. So my worries here are that Corki just will not give enough leeway over to the pieces that Team Samsara need to grow to actually get to that point where they're sprouting.
Yeah. Seraphine Corki. Now that's a little bit of new flavor. I don't know that I get it. This is a little pineapple on pizza situation a little bit. Like, I understand the Seraphine as
I'm glad you're not the only one on the cast that hates pineapple on pizza, at least.
No, I do actually like it, but
I hate it.
Okay, well there we go. We can still fight about it. It's good.
Oh yeah, we will fight about it.
Yeah, but that's really in my book, that's the Ash Seraphine. The Corki Seraphine's something else. But I don't know, what do the Ninja Turtles eat? They have some crazy garbage, right? I
just know they eat pizza. Like I
don't know. They're a recent Magic the Gathering set. They're on the mind. But anyway, Vortex and their father. Surely this is Ezreal. What else could this be?
I mean, like I'm trying to think of like other poke 80 carries. Like Ash is out, Sivir is out, Caitlyn is out. It could be a mage. Like you could go like Mel here or something like that. That would be kind of cool. But like it doesn't have a lot of. Okay, Kog'Maw is the pick. I mean, we were saying like Twitch. So I mean, we were like not really like we were like 20% right. You know, like Kog'Maw is like 20% of Twitch. But I mean, it's a hyper carry. It's something that is a bit more of an X factor, which is kind of what we were anticipating. If you go for the Ezreal, that's just kind of the crowd goes mild pick. But if you go for the Kog'Maw on 5, I think this is definitely a declaration by Ford Twinks and their father to say, hey, we are going to be playing around bot lane. We want to give War Cyclone the ball and allow him to have a carry that he is comfortable on. So my eyes are going to be on the bot lane. This is a poke lane. This is what is going to kind of, I think, be Ford Twinks and their father looking to shove in the Seraphine and the Corki, give that safety over to the Nocturne, and from there I think that they also win out on the scaling game. So I really like how this comp turned out, even if the pairings are a little bit wonky and you know, the journey we took to get there was treacherous. I think the destination that we ended up on, Gordo, it's pretty good. You know, it's like a solid like Yellowstone National Park tier good. Like it's not the greatest, it's nothing like Yosemite, it's not like the coolest landmarks ever or like the coolest place ever, but it's like okay. It's okay. It's like okay.
All right, I'll take you at your word. Here's our final drafts with the rearranges coming through. Nothing too surprising here. Going to be a big bot lane focus from Four Twinks and their father, I think, undeniably. Team Samsara, meanwhile, little bit less of a clear direction from the word jump. I do think Xin Zhao Orianna, plenty reliable as a mid-jungle duo, and they do have the ability to play out their bot lane a little bit more aggressively with this Corki. I still am a little skeptical. Corki Seraphine as a duo, though. Feels like the ability to actually modify
feels like two different directions
is limited. The ability to protect the Seraphine is limited. I'm worried about these guys.
Yeah, it feels like a bot lane going in two opposite directions as well. I mean, like, Corki really wants to fight early. Seraphine has no problem fighting, but, like, the range difference between these two is going to create, I think, some really weird spacing that War Cyclone and GFP being the collectively higher ranged bot lane here will be able to exploit. So Heretic has to be very aware of his positioning. But I'm looking at both of these comps, Gordo, and I feel like for Twinks and their father, the big thing I'm looking at, like the ideal situation, is to get Alorum ahead. I mean, if Alorum is ahead in this game and he is able to protect his entire backline, who all have very efficient and potent poke tools, then Team Samsara are going to have a rough time trying to get off this Seraphine damage, this Orianna Xin Zhao combo. They're not going to be able to get to the backline because Alorum is just constantly going to guard them away from getting toward those champions. So if you can get Alorum even a little bit ahead and just allow the scaling to kind of carry this bot side, I think that 4Twinks and their father will be in a really advantageous position, and Team Samsara won't really have any answers, frankly.
And I think not only is that an ideal position for 4Twinks and their father, dare I say, not to disrespect our ACL rookies here, I think it's a likely position. I mean, both team comps are designed to kind of totally leave top lane in an island. Alorum's got a favorable matchup. It's a matchup that he personally likes a lot. I think he's in a great spot.
FP wrapping around here, so we can already see some early damage coming through from 4Twinks and their father. That ward placed on the chickens of Aeon Crystal means that we're gonna at least know where the Xin Zhao starts. But one thing that I've learned in season 16, Gordo, as a jungler, is if you go for a ward like that, because the minions spawn so much sooner, it's very difficult to cross to the other end. Like if BB wanted to go toward that red buff, he would be late to get there. So it almost by default means that Team Samsara also know the Nocturne is starting on that top side, just because when he warded, it would have been too late for him to cross over and get toward that red buff.
Yeah, the real way to be an aggressive start in comp jungling is to just fight them over their birds, right, at level 1, right?
Yeah.
That's what Dardoch does every game. But I don't know that they're really equipped to do that with this Nocturne Victor into Xin Zhao Orianna. So they kind of have to just settle for the ward, cross back over, and take the information advantage, see what they're going to be able to do with that one. Do want to remind those at home that War Cyclone is the Kog'Maw. My friend is on streamer mode.
Streamer mode.
We will be giving him a little scolding after this. They really should just turn that off for custom games.
We'll boil him. Yep. But War Cyclone, aka Kog'Maw, again, the lane that we have to look out for just to remain healthy. We talk about trying to accelerate this Cho'Gath in the matchup against the Scion, but frankly, I think as long as the conditions are okay for this bot side, not even necessarily like ahead, 4Twinks and their father are going to find themselves in a pretty good position. You can see right now that they're more so just trying to jockey with that range advantage to poke out Heretic and Love Ego. Love Ego trying to heal up as much as possible, but Seraphine can only do so much. You kind of have to choose between healing with your W, which is already on like a 20-second cooldown level 1, or returning fire with your Corki. So definitely going to be paying attention to the Seraphine as well in this matchup.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. You know, I would expect that Kog'Maw Karma can be a little bit more aggressive in these first early levels. Similar to a Kog'Maw Lulu. It doesn't quite have the synergy that a Kog'Maw Lulu has, but it does have, you know, another support with deceptive early damage in the form of the Karma. But so far, they seem to be sustaining up just fine. It has cost a fair number of potions. And yeah, junglers kind of facing off in the river here. Eon and BB both interested in this scuttle. GFP and Love Ego coming on up. Slight health advantage to Ego. GFP going to ult his W to try to equalize that a little bit. Heretic coming in with the Gatling gun firing. Eon going to look to try to win the smite fight. Does do so. GFP sectioned off. First blooded by Aeon Crystal. And BB still trying to take the fight. But Heretic is in there. Going to try to melt back onto the jungler. Will be able to get him, but it is going to be in trade for his own life. It's a flash away from War Cyclone. And the assist damage coming through from Frozen Titan will allow for a 2v2.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-2 at the end of the day. Both sides suffering casualties, but what this is going to do is accelerate Aeon Crystal even more. That Xin Zhao got a kill, and this is the proactivity we want to see from this kind of champion, so it'll just give him that extra little bit of deadliness going into the early game. We can see Alorum is trying to shove in this wave, crash it so he can get a reset, but already Aeon is on the map. He could very easily look for a gank after these Krugs.
He might not even need the gank. Kappa going to get forced out here.
Oh, no,
Tough position for him, and Alorum already considerably ahead in CS. He's been having a very good lane so far. Up about 2 waves here compared to Kappa.
Yep, and we're also going to see that ward was placed by a Frozen Titan, so they'll at least know that Aeon is on those Raptors. It does give Alorum the green light to stay a little bit further, pushing that wave and, you know, put top in a favorable wave state where he can reset and get a teleport. But with that kill onto the Xin Zhao, we really want to see this action continue from the jungler of Team Samsara. This dragon is coming up in about 15 seconds, so if he wants to, and if he has prio in mid, which it doesn't look like he does currently, he could try and force this objective if the conditions allow for it and flex that 1 kill gold advantage that he got.
Yeah, definitely is pretty strong in the 1v1 versus the opposing jungler at this stage. If that does end up coming on through, we'll see how Eon Crystal is going to be able to play out these next couple of moments. I don't think a strong force out of the Dragon is in the cards because of how Titan is controlling the mid lane right now, like you said. But for now, going to probably just be clearing territory for both junglers as they do inch ever closer to level 6, and that fight over the 3rd scuttler likely going to be huge this game.
Yeah, it'll certainly be the difference between getting level 6 and not. That has been kind of the big meta contest dilemma between junglers over the course of Season 16, and everyone is gravitating toward bot. You can see that Toothbooth wants to go for a reset here, so at least for the time being, 4Twinks do have an item advantage, or a numbers advantage. They're going to try and press forward.
Ego does still have the flash. Heretic does not. It's going to be about half his HP, though. They are going to choose to back on away. Toothbooth does get that reset that he was looking for and should be back out on the map in time for the 2nd scuttle spawn. Eon, not even pathing that way, though. Going to go back up towards the top side. He did get both of the initial scuttlers. So he's going to say, you know what, I'm satisfied here, and I'm going to be able to hit level 6 on just normal timers anyway.
You can see that, yeah, those resets, like you said. Alorum still pushing up on the map, but does now place that ward, so we'll be able to spot out if Aeon decides to go for a gank. And it's been pretty quiet in the top lane when we said that Alorum would be kind of the big difference maker as the big reliable tank for 4Twinks and their father. Him getting ahead really, I think, would push this comp into that next level. But so far, yeah, not a ton of hands or eyes have been a part of the making of this matchup currently, though Alorum is around 10 CS up ahead, so I suppose 4Twinks and their father are not complaining, as both junglers hitting level 6. Aeon is on the bot side, so him having prio, I think he should just pull the trigger on this dragon like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, he went and hit level 6 and then just made a beeline straight to the scuttler to be able to secure it. Now going to try to maybe take away some camps, at the very least secure some vision. And yeah, like you said, the dragon now definitely in the cards. See if Frozen Titan chases Toothbooth on towards the bottom side. Doesn't look like he's too interested in biting on that bait, but the bot lane in a favorable position with the jungle in a favorable position. Team Samsara going to look to rip this first dragon, and they should claim it no problem.
Toothbooth just can really only help for a little bit because Frozen Titan is pushing in that wave. You don't want to sacrifice any of your own resources as Toothbooth to help for a dragon that isn't being contested, and he's already kind of behind. We can see a Frozen Titan is like 2 waves ahead of the Orianna, so not wanting to further that gold gap even more, does return to the lane. First dragon over to Team Samsara. And yeah, it's been a relatively quiet game thus far outside of that initial 3v3, 4v4, whatever we want to call it on the bot. It was like a 3v4. I mean, Toothbooth got there and got a participation trophy because of that teleport.
Yeah, definitely. Lorem going to be able to successfully crash another wave, gets himself a plate, gets himself a feast stack, keeping one eye on those as this game plays out. And should be able to get himself a 2nd giant spell. Not a completed item yet, but will definitely be looking to just stack up against this Scion. Does look like maybe not a lane swap, but a little gank coming through here from GFP. Yeah. He's waiting up there. They're calling over BB, who does have the paranoia, but that play might get blown up a little bit early here. GFP has been found.
GFP's timer a little bit awkward. He went toward the top side when BB reset and Alorum reset, so there's just kind of like 20 seconds of dead air, and because of that time, look at how homeless War Cyclone is right now. Yeah. I mean, Aeon understands, hey, we don't really have control over the top side. We're just going to make a cross map on this bot lane. We're going to starve resources from this Kog'Maw, and it's working. 20 CS difference between the 80 carries, and plates are going over to the Corki.
Yeah, they do get the grubs for their efforts on the 4Twink side, but kind of feels like they would have been able to get those grubs anyway.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it is going to be 2 plates given over to Heretic and Love Ego. They get a little bit
Aeon
of
is here.
to the bottom side. They get a nice CS advantage. And now a play coming up towards Alorum, who was on the proxy farm train. Going to have to flash away from that decimating smash. Aeon Crystal going to stay on top of him. And they're going to keep on slowing up this Cho'Gath. There's nowhere for him to go without the flash. He's just trying to save time, but he will be dropping down. Aeon gets his second of the game.
And that was a really good macro play there from Aeon Crystal. He was there to zone off the Kog'Maw from the bot side. So all of 4Twinks and their father are like, okay, this is Xin Zhao's bot side. Immediately resets, beelines it toward top, and then Alorum is like, wait, I thought this guy was on the other side of the map. What's he doing here? Gets taken down, and to make matters worse, also burns that flash. So does mean Aeon Crystal, if given the opportunity, could look for a regank. We can already see him setting up to cross over this part of the river. He's going onto the crab, might get collapsed on with this teleport coming through as well, though.
Oh, there's going to be an ultimate coming on through from BB. They will be able to get on towards Aeon. He tries to flash away, finds himself face to face with Frozen Titan, and now there's no way out. Trying to turn it back onto BB. Good damage from Toothbooth, but it will not be enough, and that shutdown gold will go the way of Titan.
Yeah, Toothbooth was just kind of sectioned off. The Orianna wasn't able to join up with the Xin Zhao in time. And Kappa as well, you can see how low he is on mana. Didn't really have the ability to fight back. So it was a good flank TP from Alorum to get a little bit of revenge. And a Frozen Titan now has 2 of his team's 3 kills. So the victor, those concerns that we had early on about getting picked off by Aeon with the Xin Zhao early seem to have been subverted, as he now has the completed Roa and is on track to be pretty strong come late game.
Yeah, good stuff coming on through. Alorum chasing Kappa up on the top side, and 4Twinks and their father, you get equalized.
Oh,
GFP just gets blown up in the 2-on-2. Heretic drops a big one and has no problem taking out the Karma.
Yeah, now Kog'Maw is in a bit of a precarious spot. We can see Aeon is in the area. BB wants to push, or War Cyclone rather, wants to push in this wave. More than likely we'll be able to do it. Xin Zhao's not going to be able to run interference in time. He's more concerned about the mid lane matchup because both of them took a bite out of one another. The health bars are pretty low, but generally nothing too big happening, though. Toothbooth staying on the map. He's going to be able to shove in this wave, give that space over to Aeon and Love Ego because the bot lane of TSR got toward the map quicker. So they'll be the ones to set up around this river, set up around this dragon, and have control where 4Twinks and their father will not.
Yeah, a little unsung here too, but like Titan is so far ahead of Toothbooth. He is now, you know, about a third of the way through stacking his Roa. He'll be on 3 stacks before too long. And just now Toothbooth finishes off the Archangel staff. So obviously he'll be the first one to upgrade all the way. He'll get Seraphs before the Rod of Ages is fully stacked up, but very nice tempo here from Frozen Titan. He's just going to be the first one on towards the item spike and will be the first one on towards the second undoubtedly as well.
Let's see 4Twinks setting up for a pick in the bush right now, potentially into Toothbooth, but this Orianna does have flash, so if he reacts to it quickly enough, he can get out of that situation. TSR just in a more favorable position. Kog'Maw's completely cut off from this fight, so it's a 3v4 until War Cyclone can link up with the rest of his team.
Samsara is taking a little bit of poke for their troubles, though. Aeon taken to about half. Will have the support of this Echoes of Helia Seraphine to give him a little bit of additional boost. Wave getting pushed in on the bottom side. Samsara still interested in getting this dragon. They're not even going to try to connect the
still away
here. He's still pushing, still hitting the bottom turret. Does have those grubs to try to work her way through the plates a little bit faster.
Oh,
It is an ultimate coming on through from BB, looking to enter. It's the flanking Kog'Maw starting to open up. Smite comes through. It's Aeon who secures it for the team. Shockwave onto 2. There's the encore over the wall. Locks down a second. Aeon still fighting. Finally drops down, but it's 2 kills secured for Samsara. And Toothbooth flashing over the wall to make it 3. A double kill to him as Samsara take the lead.
Honestly, the kills are the big thing here for TSR. The dragon is just the cherry on top because TSR, they had the superior setup like we said, Gordo. They had all 4 members linked up with one another. When BB goes in, he's doing it alone. The Kog'Maw isn't there to back him up. The rest of 4Twinks and their father aren't there to back him up. They're all completely split. And TSR get the Wombo combo off, get the dragon, and now the Corki and the Orianna. There is a accelerated as they could be.
Very, very good for Toothbooth to be able to get that additional gold, catch up, collapse the gap that had been building up against Frozen Titan. Titan cannot do too much of anything in that fight. And yeah, I mean, just a full send from 4Twinks when they are not in a position to be able to do so. The flanking Kog'Maw does not work. And now Titan going to get rooted up here. He's going to take at least a big chunk, if not be forced to flash, just the chunk.
And I really like this move up from Samsara, because now with the Corki in mid as well as the Seraphine, it just gives Love Ego more access to affect the side lanes. The next objective will be this Herald coming up in a little bit. So if we can get Shove in mid and we can kind of fix the problems that we've been having in the top lane, I think that Alorum has basically had Kappa under his turret for most of the laning phase. If we can fix that as Team Samsara, I think we'll be in a great spot to start controlling this top side. You get that Herald, and then you can use that to affect the next dragon fight. And that's the whole point. At that point, you have complete subjugation of pressure in this game, and that's what Team Samsara want. As a unit, they are a team fight comp through and through. If they can subvert the poke that 4Twinks and their father's comp is built around, they are doing their job correctly. And so far, they have been playing it very well.
Quick shout out to Caddy on Prod, giving me exactly what I need for my commentary. We took a quick look at Alorum's feast stacks there. He is at the full 6. So everything from here on out is gravy. He can save that ability for objectives for champions to try to keep the stacking going. Always an awkward position when you want to use that ability or save it for combat situations, and then you're 20 minutes in with a couple of minion stacks left to gain. Alorum not going to find himself in that spot this game, and is healthily stacking up a heart steal as well, by the way. He's already at 160 bonus health. Toothbooth has found GFP, though, committed the shockwave, and will get the summoner heal for it.
We can also see that a Frozen Titan is kind of split off from the rest of the team, so TSR are kind of pinging to maybe try and punish that. This Victor, though, does have flash.
Yep. Yeah, so Frozen Titan wins this trade all day long. We'll be chasing Toothbooth down and get him underneath the turret, but not much lasting damage, at least it would appear.
You can see that Love Ego has to kind of jettison toward bot lane to cover for his mid laner.
Yeah, Booth getting pushed back. BB forced off of the play. He'll be just fine, though, as Frozen Titan continues to laze underneath that turret, just trying to make sure that these waves can crash wherever possible. Still no first turret claim for either team this game. Very slow and steady macro-wise, despite a couple of fights breaking out. And now about 90 seconds to go until this next Dragon Quack's going to need to be a contest from 4Twinks. They don't want to give over a free soul point.
And I'm kind of surprised Samsara didn't rip the Herald there, because you had eyes on where BB was. He was on that bot side, so I'm a little bit perplexed why they didn't go for a cross-map play, because again, we're saying this Herald could easily lead into a third dragon. So Samsara should really be looking for any excuse to try and take that objective, and I feel like they were given one. So bit of a missed opportunity in my opinion, but still, they are stronger going into this dragon fight in about 45 seconds. Kappa, notably though, doesn't have teleport, and at the moment doesn't have prio in the lane. So if Sion can't join with the rest of his team, can't kind of, you know, have access to that river to ult through the map and join up on that bot side, then I do think that 4Twinks and their father could find a way to claw this fight back. And they desperately need a fight win at this point, because as we've said so many times, the team fight ability is just in favor of Team Samsara's comp.
Absolutely is, especially if they're able to put the pieces together and get those layered ultimates. It was a really good job in that last Dragon team fight to get the shockwave, get the encore on top of it. You can't really draw it up.
He's
any
going
better
toward
than
mid.
that. Now GFP cut off from the rest of the team, rooted, and he is done for. Going to flash away, but pierced through the heart by Eon, who lands a big win, becomes lightning, and now it's going to be some more lockdown coming through out of the cog. Well, there's nowhere for War Cyclone to go. It's a double kill to Eon. Frozen Titan coming in on the side, gets a nicely placed Chaos Storm. Will be able to take out Eon, but that's the only one he's found, and there's still plenty healthy carries on the Samsara side. They have no smite, so the Dragon's a little dangerous, but they win the fight for sure.
They're
Still starting it though. I mean, Aeon is up in about 20 seconds. If you can kind of dance around this fight until then, along with the Hextech portals, then I think you'll be able to get Aeon right back into the action. But you do also have to run the risk of BB potentially looking for a steal. It doesn't look like he's going to go for it. There's no blast cone available. He does have flash. If he wants to just YOLO it, he could do that. That would be an absolutely gamer play. He's going around.
It's actually taken him a little while, too. It's about 3k HP. He's trying to think about just walking in, recognizing that, hey, Toothbooth's not here either. The damage isn't that much.
Back on the map,
and
though.
they've actually successfully stalled this out. Kog'Maw's back. Warcyclone and GFP
Toothbooth
are
still has ult,
here.
though.
Yeah, there is ultimates back and available for TSR, though. How do they want to play this out? Trying to take some control over mid, making things tough, forcing decisions. Toothbooth going to commit the ultimate. It's onto Alorum. He eats that up for breakfast, but now what about the follow-up fight? BB stepping up, has to flash over the wall. The flash is down. Where is the ultimate? Doesn't come on through in time. Soul point for Team Samsara. In over to Toothbooth, over the wall, collapsed on by Eon and Heretic, and TSR already with a numbers advantage in the fight. Trying to retreat her for Twinks. Alorum gonna have to flash away. Wind becomes lightning, going to miss. Here comes the unstoppable onslaught. Dodged out by Warcyclone. Trying to open up with the Bio-Arcane barrage. Eon up in the front lines, commits that Crescent Guard, and will get the rest of his team out to safety. It's a kill lead and another dragon to Samsara.
BB is off his rocker. The cheese slid off the cracker, Gordo. Like, he's lost his mind. He's going in onto Toothbooth, but all of Team Samsara have surrounded this Orianna, and he gets taken down. Dragon soul point for Samsara as well. And nothing really consequential comes of them. 4 Twinks and their father, some of the members stay on the map, but they're not able to get any of the turrets. Those all still stand. It's a dragon for nothing. It's a dead jungler for nothing. And Samsara are running away with this game now that they've got soul point.
The situations are getting chaotic, but Samsara are coming out on top at the end of the day. They're playing out the situations better. Really good re-engage on that fight off the back of the dragon. Really good job to collapse together on top of the Nocturne. Not panic when the paranoia comes down. Protect Toothbooth as need be. And I mean, they get themselves another objective, another fight win. The gold lead is still not insurmountable. It's only about 2K, but they keep playing out these fights the way they have been. It's going to be smooth sailing.
And now, I mean, I think the big thing, 21 minutes into the game and no outer tower has fallen. I think that Samsara, the next logical step in their ability to try and further this game ahead is to take down those tier 1s. They're all really low. There's 1 plate on mid and bot. There's 2 plates on top. If you can open up the map a little bit more and continue to push Aeon as a threat to start up these fights, I think you'll be in a really good shape. Add in the Seraphine sustain, because now that W is starting to be on a really low cooldown. I think that the prolonged fighting of this TSR squad will be greatly increased in usage if they can get some of these towers.
Man. All right, Toothbooth gonna commit the ultimate here. Alorum looking for the one-on-one, does not have the flash, and I think that's gonna be it for our favorite Void monster here. Alorum goes down. Paranoia on top of that's actually Love Ego. I thought that was Toothbooth for a second. And Love Ego will be able to flash his way out of there. Ulti for flash, not the worst trade in the world, although you did lose a top laner in the process. And Eon now going to be the target. They're not slowing down. BB wants blood.
You don't win this.
He does not win this one-on-one. He's going to have to back away.
See that TSR are trying to push these side waves. They aren't able to do that in top lane, but now GFP is completely split.
Yep, he is done for. Gets caught between a rock and a hard place. The push in mid proves to cut off his last remaining route out, and he will fall down. Just nice picks coming through for Team Samsara, and they continue to find themselves with control around the map. They get themselves their first turret. Wasn't the first turret, but still looking good. Coming away from this game at number 1. We'll see if they're going to be able to close it out. This is a TP from Alorum. Not going to connect. Kappa now going to just eat up a little bit of damage, but not much of anything to be produced here. TSR able to get away.
And now they're all grouped up in the mid lane. I mean, if 4 Twinks and their father, if the goal was to try and knock down this mid turret, they're not going to be able to do it. They're not strong enough to get to actually hitting that objective. Baron is up, and they're going to just go for a Hail Mary. They've started this. They want to force a fight, but Gordo, they're behind almost 4,000 gold.
Yeah, they're definitely in a little bit of dicey situation for the fight, but they do have a huge advantage for the smites on the Baron itself. But it does look like the collapse has come on through.
Right, here we go.
Into DP. Here comes the ultimate, and there's the shockwave onto 2. War Cyclone, the first one to fall in the fight. It's a double kill to the rookie in the top lane, and Team Samsara stamp their mark on the team fight, and on game number 1, this Baron is going to be theirs.
That was their Hail Mary. They wanted that fight, and they got a slaughter. TSR decimate the team fight of Frozen Titan, trying to save face, though.
Yeah, he's making a desperation move here. Is going to find an isolated Heretic, get good damage onto him, but Kappa unmovable in the front line, and Eon wailing away at the Baron the whole way long. Poke damage still coming on through. Maybe we'll even claim a life before this is all said and done, but even if it does, this is a TSR win in the books.
Now, Baron empowered recalls. Hextech Soul means that you'll get the gates to get back onto the map. The dragon has already spawned, and it's a race to see which team gets there first. But TSR, with those resets and just the fact that they are a stronger team, they're going to be the ones in control of this river, Gordo. 4 Twinks and their father will be too late yet again. And now it's TSR forcing the objective.
Baby, there's no time for those Krugs, brother. It's Dragon Soul. It's time to fight for it. Shockwave misses onto Titan. That could give the opening that they need on the side of 4 Twinks. But War Cyclone has been blown to smithereens. And TSR already have the main DPS on the opposing team down. Paranoia dropped. BB looking for a way in. They stop damaging the dragon. Instead, he's just going to have to go in on the front line. Kappa taken to about a quarter HP, but he's got the shield to be able to stay alive. Alorum's walking forward, but he can't sustain against 5 members for long at all. Jumping on top of Titan is Eon to finish off that kill. The Dragon Soul's claimed by Samsara, and the fight goes the same way.
The Soul is claimed, the Baron is claimed, and TSR have all but claimed this game number 1 victory. 4 Twinks and their father, try as they might, cannot stand up to the team fighting prowess of the enemy's comp, and the 5v5s have been dictating this game, Gordo.
Well played on the team fight comp, the early draft of the Orianna. It's been so impactful. The Scion was able to sustain against the Cho'Gath, and now they're just fighting all day long. Eon Crystal cannot forget about this guy who has just been running amok in these fights. Started off with the first blood, kept himself ahead throughout the entire game, and is making his impact felt as he is frontlining with the best of them.
And Aeon Crystal with the most KP in the game, even more than Love Ego, who all Mans has to do is click W, and someone who he clicked W on gets a kill. I mean, he's just been so proactive in this game. He's going to continue going forward.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Almost getting that extra kill. Didn't quite land. The wind becomes lightning, and away will go BB. But that is a Nocturne flashing backwards.
Yep.
Which is always a win in my book. And TSR are going to be able to keep this siege going on the inner turret. They are finally claiming all of that standing gold we've been talking about. And now they find themselves at 13K in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blink and you'll miss it. A couple of minutes for TSR as now they're looking onto Kappa, who is very tanky.
This is a desperation play if I've ever seen one. I mean, maybe they get him. Probably not.
Nope.
He will walk out. Yeah, that's rough, boys.
Yeah. But the side of Aeon, I mean, we were kind of singing this guy's credit in the draft, Gordo. We were saying that this is a guy who, you know, in the recent combines in the last 9 or so months has really come into his own and has made a very impressive mark onto a lot of the events that he has participated in. And we're seeing that improvement in real time up against another up-and-comer like BB, who we highlighted in the draft as well, completely getting decimated by Aeon here on the Xin Zhao. So got to continue giving flowers and credit where it is due. The jungle matchup has been absolutely lopsided here in game number 1, as Aeon Crystal has been relentless on the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, really well played game from him in the jungle. Really disciplined play around that bottom side, being willing to sacrifice Kappa. And Kappa doing a good job of not giving up much for as sacrificed as he was. They are able to find their way into a very, very strong late game position and play out the team fights appropriately from there. Feels like it's all over but the screaming for now, as down goes the mid inhibitor turret. The mid inhibitor soon to follow. And TSR dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Expect 4 Twinks to make one more desperation move with the paranoia before this is over, but it's going to have to be perfect.
And now TSR with no Baron buff available. I'm wondering if they're going to be able to try and finish this game before risking a 50-50 on the Dragon or 50-50 on the Baron, which, you know, come up about a minute apart from one another. It's about 90 seconds until the Baron and 2.5 minutes until the Drake. So I think TSR really want to try and end the game here to avoid any difficulties.
He's just getting melted like he's nothing. And they're going to get that Shogath nice and early here. I think they wanted to wait for this Rabadon's on Titan, but they're just not going to get that kind of time. Although the wave is gone, this turret has lasted a very long time. And the wave clear is pretty good between these remaining 4. Will it be enough, though? Will they be able to hold on until Lorem respawns? 30 seconds is a long time.
Cap is very tanky, man. I mean, they've got their frontliner, 4 Twinks and their father. They don't have a tank.
Yeah, here it comes. The Encore lands right across the Kog'Maw, going to be able to finish off that kill. Titan doing his best to pump out the damage, but that Chaos Storm has come and gone already, and it hasn't claimed any lives. There goes the blow up on towards GFP. Titan, the last one standing, forced to retreat into the fountain, and Team Samsara, in their ACL debut, will come up 1-0.
6, 4, and 15 for Aeon in game number 1. A stellar performance on the Xin Zhao. There were only 5 deaths on the side of Team Samsara, and 4 of those belonged to Aeon Crystal, so he stays winning, I guess. Trying to give 4 Twinks and their father a chance, you know? A very respectable man.
And I mean, and 0 deaths across Kappa, Toothbooth, and Love Ego. Who are, you know, some all players that we were a little bit less sure of coming in on this team, right? Like, we felt confident about Eon, who's been on the come up as of late. We felt like Heretic performed very well in the Combine season, but we weren't sure what we were going to get out of these other 3 guys, and they come up huge in game number 1. Really great performances across the board for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it all really came to a head in the team fights, right? We saw that the laning phase was more or less equal. We saw the 2-for-2 that happened early on. Teams were just kind of trading blows for like the first 15 or so minutes of the game. But the moment we saw those lane swaps come through, the moment we saw Team Samsara kind of grouping up as more than just 2 players, I think that's when the difference really started to shine, particularly around those dragons. We highlighted it. The setups, the ability to be there first, forcing 4 Twinks and their father to go into them is exactly what got them ahead, because every single time 4 Twinks and their father went for the fight, even if it was disadvantageous, they were always down to scrap, and most of those scraps ended in a majority of their players' demise. So it felt like a combination of better preparation from Team Samsara and just unwillingness from 4 Twinks and their father to let objectives go and look for cross maps, frankly.
Yeah, certainly here. Really great stuff coming out of them in game number 1, but it is a full Fearless series, and it is a best of 3. So gonna need to see new looks from this team coming into game number 2. Gonna be harder to build that super straightforward team fight comp. Gonna lose out on some of these power picks that we know are comfort for the likes of Toothbooth and Eon in the Xin Zhao and the Orianna. Curious to see how they're going to be able to respond here, but I also think, you know, the Kog'Maw Karma leaves a little bit of questions here. We were asking for Ezreal the whole draft long, and it feels like they weren't ever really able to get the Kog'Maw online. Abandoning it for that play up towards the top side feels like it was a really real turning point in the game, Quacks.
Yeah, the roams from GFP, I think, were really questionable at times because, I mean, we highlighted it in some instances, like around the Grubs, where we said that his timer was a little bit awkward and denied a lot of resources away from War Cyclone. It just kind of felt like 4 Twinks and their father weren't on the same page, not just in the bot lane, but also with BB. I think the impact in the laning phase from those paranoias was minimal at best. He really wasn't able to make a lot of side lane plays. He didn't have a lot of effect on those matchups, and I do think that we didn't get to see a ton from him, at least not from what we're used to, as he's the guy who likes to play a lot of the early game skirmishers, and I think that Nocturne is good at skirmishing, but playing around those lanes is a different story entirely. You have to be really proactive with that, and he just wasn't proactive enough. So 4 Twinks and their father not on the same page, and I felt like Team Samsara just were much better coordinated in that game, all things considered.
Definitely agree there, but we all know that these things can change on a dime, game to game, especially when you've got such an experience differential between these two squads. Let's find out what game number two is going to look like. We are going to throw it to a quick break before we get to that point, though. First things first, I do want to shout out ZenMarket, your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy items from over 10,000 shops, as well as place bids on auctions on your behalf. Then they'll consolidate all your items safely into one box, which they can ship internationally. They provide excellent customer service in 19 languages, which is why ZenMarket is trusted by over 2 million users worldwide. Check out the panel below the stream or click the link in chat to try them out now. And if you sign up with promo code Aegis, you'll get 3,000 yen off your first international shipping fee. Thank you once again to ZenMarket for sponsoring Aegis in the ACL, and we will see everybody after a short break for game number two.
日本国内発送のみ？あ、それなら全マーケットね。
すごい迷宮だ。あの商品はどこに？あそこだ。でもどうすれば。わかった。よっと。はっ。うん。はっ。よし。
ありがとう、全マーケット。
Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the ACL, where four Twinks and their father find themselves down 0-1 up against Team Samsara. First selection goes to the Twinks and their father. See what they're going to take coming into this game at number two. And I believe draft is already underway. So we're going to get right into this one, Quacks.
Yeah, and just a quick little brief synopsis of what we saw from game number 1. Team Samsara, just with the better team fighting and the better coordination. Before we went to break, we really highlighted Aeon Crystal and I think Tooth Booth were the big ones, though. The Orianna having a lot of impact in the team fights, and then the Xin Zhao leading the charge in a lot of those fights to engage and kind of open the floodgates in those 5-on-5. So really good from them. Hope to see more of that going into game number 2. And then Four Twinks and their father, we just want to see the synergy be a little bit tighter, because for the most part, Gordo, they were able to match Team Samsara in the laning phase. It's really when people started grouping up that I think they got a little bit more lost in the sauce than what was intended. So very small fixes, and I think we could definitely see this series going to game number 3.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think I don't want to listen. I love these guys on this team. I've been watching them for a lot of splits, but they have always been capable of losing a game 1. Let's put it that way. It's always been something that's in the cards. So I want to see if what kind of season is this going to be, right? Definitely, there were definitely periods of, like, I remember like 4 splits in a row of like these Olorum, Robbie Bob, Kitsuo teams. Kitsuo, of course, had a different split, but never mind that. A lot of splits of like those kinds of teams with various bot lanes where sometimes they would make like a deep run to top 3 or something like that, top 4, and sometimes they would like flame out super early, and you never really knew which version of the team you were going to get. So I'm curious to see how these guys are going to be able to bounce back. Been a tough first 2 weeks for this squad for sure. Had to play against the toughest opponents in the group. As the Pool 3 team, they played against the Pool 1 team first. Now we're playing against the Pool 2 team. Let's see if they can make this series competitive, as it does look like they are going to be in... I believe this means they're going to be on blue side. I do not know if that means they're going to be first or second yet until we start the draft.
First selection is a hell of an addition. It leaves us questioning which team is up first. We need like some kind of indication coming through, but it's okay. I do think that, looking at the comps here, we still have a good amount of meta picks still up and available. We saw a lot of focus toward the junglers in game number 1, Gordo, at least as far as the bans were concerned, and I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of that change, considering how impactful Aeon Crystal was in game number 1. I think that Four Twinks and their father are probably going to double down on the jungle attention that we saw from the bans in the first series, or first game of the series rather. But because BB didn't have an amazing game in game number 1, I am interested if Team Samsara decide to shift their focus away from jungle and maybe try and attack some other lanes. I feel like Alorum might not be where you want to, throw your bans, but a Frozen Titan was definitely very potent on that Victor, so maybe a little bit of respect being paid over toward him, as we were getting a little concerned. He had a 2-0 start and definitely could have gotten out of control if Team Samsara didn't put out that fire before it raged on too long.
Yeah, I think the solo laner is definitely standing out, looking good in game number 1 for Twinks. Let's see if they're going to be able to keep that up. They do appear to have first pick as well as blue side, by the way, based on how this has played out so far. Looking for some more bans to come on through before long. It's going to be the Ambessa and the Pantheon for Four Twinks. Trundle going to lead the way for Team Samsara and continuing to try to pinch that jungle pool with the Jarvan.
Yeah, Jarvan being taken away here, just trying to limit that proactivity, what BB can actually end up doing. Four Twinks and their father, though, it seems like are more concerned about the snap engage tools for champions that they're banning away. Obviously, you've got the Pantheon with the point and click W, Ambessa with the good ult engage, and then Varus as well with the good ult pick / engage tool. So just trying to take away a lot of these pick champions, I think a lot of these fight starters. But as we've seen, you can limit what champions start fights, but Aeon Crystal is still going to try and find a way. So I do think that going into this, we still have a few of the bot lane pairings up and available. Azir is also still there. So Four Twinks and their father going to pull that one out here on 1. And Gordo, I got to be honest with you, friend, like, this is a champion that got nerfed very recently. The order that was given from Azir way back when would be like the good old Rabadon's death cap, would be the Nashor's tooth. Now the order that he's giving is like a double mac or a double cheeseburger with fries and a large soda. Like this brother is working at McDonald's. This champ kind of sucks.
Well, that and the proto belt, man. It's gonna be.
Oh, do I have something to say about the proto belt when it comes up? Oh, do I have something to say?
We'll see. I don't know if Titan is proto pilled or not. We'll find out. But he does snap on up that Azir, another control mage in the mid lane for Titan. Samsara going to respond with the Yone. That's a spicy pick coming through for Tooth Booth. We assume it's for Tooth Booth. Could be for Cap on the top lane if so desired. See how the rest of the draft plays out. But default, I would assume that is going into the mid lane. And I assume it's going to be supported by this Maokai in the jungle for Eon. But they see that Maokai and they immediately say it's Xayah Rakan time. Let's get ourselves let's get ourselves out of this nonsense.
Rakan is a champion that I think is really good at being able to link up with another source of engage. So if they are in fact going to pick that one up, I think that it pairs very well with the Azir. Lee Sin lock-in though is a little interesting because not only does it get locked in with no setup, but it might not even exist as it went away. Oh, it's back.
And now it's back. These guys hate established bot lane duos, Quacks. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, like we spent the whole first draft waiting for Ezreal, and now we take the Xayah separated from her man and to lock in Lee Sin instead. And listen, I don't know. I don't think the Lee Sin was contested. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah. And I think Lee Sin being picked is a really weird thing because like you look at the side of 4Twinks and their father, they really have like no solid setup. Like that Q is going to have to connect with the skill of BB alone, really. Like you don't really have anything to lock someone down so far, and you can bet that Team Samsara, now that they know the Lee Sin is one of the carries that 4Twinks and their father are looking to go for, are going to try and take away as many lockdown tools as humanly possible. So that combined with the big range from Caitlyn and the slipperiness of the Yone and the Maokai, like BB, it's a statement game. Like this is going to have to be an immaculate Lee Sin performance because so far the setup really isn't there and the champions you're playing up against aren't great for Lee Sin.
Yeah, he's going to need to get his mojo back in this game too, for certain, if they're going to be able to make this Lee Sin pick worth it from where they took it, because they've now lost the chance at the Rakan. They're going to go for the Blitzcrank instead. I don't hate it up against, you know, Rumble Caitlyn, I suppose. This is going to be an awkward bot lane, though, especially if
Galio.
I like the Galio top up against the Rumble. Plenty good for Alorum here. This is a very spooky Lux Morgana, whatever you want. There's Morgana. Yeah, it is spooky. I told you it was going to be, and now it's here, and I'm afraid because Xayah and Blitzcrank are going to struggle against this long-range combo.
This 4Twinks and their father comp, I feel like, besides the top lane matchup, are heavily counterpicked by what Team Samsara have drafted up here. The Morgana, like you said, is going to be really good at already nullifying what little lockdown 4Twinks and their father do have. On top of that, I think that the range of the Caitlyn just kind of counters everything on the opposite side as well. The Yone is going to be able to free hit in a lot of these fights. Like there are a lot of threats on Team Samsara's comp, and I do think that really the only thing that can run interference is the Lee Sin making early proactive plays on top of the Galio being able to follow up. If you can get Prio as 4Twinks in your father, then I think it opens up the door for BB to, you know, go into the enemy jungle, look to be aggressive. Maokai isn't known to be a fighter, so like if you can exploit that and look to invade him as much as possible, I think that that really is the big advantageous position that 4Twinks and their father can go for. It really is the only one, in my opinion, because like game number one, once you go into these team fights, I just feel like Team Samsara are going to have a much easier time in a vacuum.
Yeah, they definitely have some really powerful team fighting tools with them. They have a lot of non-committal engage.
Equalizer, Morgana ult, like it,
yeah, and Nature's Grasp, and they really do have the ability as well to nullify a lot of some of the most powerful tools that 4Twinks have going for themselves, right? Like they're going to be able to throw a Black Shield on a Caitlyn or a Rumble or a Yone and get a lot of mileage off of it. Like, it's going to be a long time before someone's going to be able to break through that. You're going to need a Winds of War, Galio, passive auto attack, a little bit of Azir damage to be able to knock that off. And you know that's going to require, you know, an amount of focus. And you don't do that, your feathers aren't going to root. Your Blitzcrank's going to be useless. You can't Dragon's Rage them. it's going to create awkward situations. And if game one showed us anything, it's when the situations get awkward. It was Team Samsara who were able to play the situations better.
They absolutely were. And on top of that, last point I'll make about the comps before we get really into the game, as we have loaded onto Summoner's Rift, is Team Samsara have the ability to really just look at one player and go, screw this guy in particular. Morgana plus Maokai, that's a CC train that you do not want to deal with. That gives you a free therapy coupon.
No. Okay. Dark Binding missed. Dark Binding missed. That's a little unacceptable from Love Ego, but GFP can count his lucky stars and walk away.
Let's give the ability for a Frozen Titan to get a ward onto those Raptors really uncontested, because Toothbooth took time to try and look for a play on the bot lane. He's not able to really return vision on that side of the map. So for the time being, BB is going to be undetected. This will allow him to, if he wants to, make an early play. He is on this bot side, so if he decides to 3-camp and maybe cross over, or maybe look for a gank on bot lane, that is something that is very possible and honestly preferable at this moment. Like we talked about, the early game really is going to be the moment for Lee Sin to make his statement on the game.
Yeah, I mean, I do think going birds to Krugs to red buff maybe makes that less likely. No, like I would think
maybe
he would go.
Maybe it's not committal. Like if it doesn't work out, you don't have to cross over nearly as much, right?
Sure, sure. Yeah, so we'll find out. I mean, I guess you're right. It's not the end of the world if he does take a couple extra steps to come on down. And he does appear to be cheating towards that side, so he's at the very least thinking about it. And does seem like he's at least going to make his way over. Yep, there's the on my way ping, Quacks.
All right, let's see if it works out. Level 2 for GFP. Does have the flash. I don't believe Love Ego has the black shield yet either, unless he took it level 2.
I would hope he took it level 2. What does Tormented Soil really do for you? But I guess we'll find out. He's deep behind enemy lines. He's actually invading the Gromp, where he is going to find...
He's going to get spotted!
Oh, no. This could be worse than just a failed gank. As here comes Love Ego to back him up. Does look like the mobility of the Lee Sin going to allow him to escape, though I don't think he got that Gromp.
He's crossing back around.
12 CS. He's coming back. He's coming
producer,
back.
Go to Lee Sin. Go to Lee Sin.
No, he didn't get the Gromp. It's been smited away by Eon. Oh boy. Although the 1v1, looking at Eon here, falling lower on HP. Love Ego on his way over. GFP gonna come over and try to assist. Mid laners duking it out in the mid lane. The blue buff now might be the target. The scuttle crabs are spawning. Things are getting chaotic. All in all, though, I think Eon is just like kind of treating this as more of a nuisance than anything. He still has a CS lead. He's still gotten all his camps.
I mean, and you're Maokai. Like, who cares if you get a little bit behind? You're not like a super economy reliant jungler. You're a facilitator. Like, if you don't get gold, whatever, right? Like, it is what it is. You're wasting time from the Lee Sin. He gets a blue buff. He just spent a minute and a half to 2 minutes getting a blue buff. Like, that is his reward. And if that is the time spent for that reward, I would say it's absolutely worth it for Team Samsara. Like, you wasted so much time for BB to get something so trivial and so minute.
Oh, but there's a flash engage from BB, and he finds it on to Toothbooth. Down goes the mid laner. First blood to the Lee Sin. And BB makes it all worth it. Although Lawrence is going to get solo killed here. Kappa puts his name on the board and takes the father down a second game in a row.
We could see that he also wants to shove in that wave, but does recognize as well that the Lee Sin is on the top side. So he's going to leave that for now. Going to reset and try to fix the wave once he comes back. Really good solo kill from Kappa in the counter matchup. He also does have Aeon on the top side. So if that wave ends up bouncing back, they could look for something onto the Galio.
Oh, it's a flash on a Heretic. They must have already used Black Shield, as Love Ego is really getting punished for it here. Although I say that, it's a flash for flash and a cleanse for heal.
Yep. So trade of summoners being burned on the bot side. Both junglers also pathing toward the bot side. So we'll have to see if any interference will be ran within the next minute or so. But War Cyclone and GFP, as I say that, are also going for a reset. They're first of the game. So it does feel like TSR with that initial first kill on the top side, I'm interested if they can grow that gold lead any further for the Rumble, because, I mean, if you can subvert the one big counter matchup that 4 Twinks and their father got in the draft, then I think you just set yourself up even further to be in a good position around those team fights that we already said were going to be in this comp's favor.
Definitely. But it does look like Alorum's been doing a solid job of the farm department, despite the death earlier. Does find himself up a bit of CS again. But yeah, definitely need to see a lot more proactivity from BB still to be had. He is not behind pace by any means, but the thing with the Lee Sin is you cannot really let up. Definitely want to see him return towards this bottom side when the opportunity presents himself. Maybe fight over this scuttler that is going to spawn towards the bottom side. Hook comes through, gets blocked by the Black Shield. Well done by Ego.
See, Aeon is just kind of waiting in the wings for BB to make his move, but he's just going to throw a kitty into the tri-bush and spot out that Lee Sin. So we didn't really mention it, but I mean, these saplings are going to do a really good job of being able to track where the Lee Sin is. If he tries to ever get the jump off on a play, like, Aeon is going to have no problem if he's there first to spot that out before it happens. So really good recognition of where the Lee Sin wants to go, thwarts that plan, and is continuing to just kind of play bodyguard around the area. They're actually calling over the Azir to partake in the fight, and now it's a 3v2 because nobody from 4's bot lane can join.
Nice flash away from Titan there, gets away from the Fate Sealed, well positioned by Eon to push him into it. It will end up just being a trade of flashes at the end of the day. Not a firm lead built for either side off of that exchange. And I do want to say there's something to be said for all of this violence in and around the bottom side and the constant pulling up of Ego, that it's made the Caitlyn matchup not as bad. Like, we definitely felt real bad about playing Blitzcrank against Caitlyn and Morgana, but they've managed to make their way out of it without too much of a deficit for War Cycle.
See that he is just kind of waiting in the wings. He's now pinging over to the red buff that just spawned. And Aeon, is he going to spot this out before it happens, or who's going to get the jump on who is the big question.
Trying to keep that pressure in. Does have the backup of Alorum with the hero's entrance, so has a little bit of a trump card in the fight over on this side. And it is going to be a smite battle that Eon wins. Well done for him, even at a level down. Now going to be even with the Lee Sin.
This is what we're talking about. I mean, BB is looking for these tiny little camp advantages over Maokai, who doesn't really care about that. And all the while, I mean, the lanes are kind of in a neutral position, not being affected by the Lee Sin, which is what we said needed to happen in this laning phase. If
that's a kill. Ooh. Another one comes on through. We've cursed it again, Quacks. That's twice in a row.
What is wrong?
We're talking about how BB's not really doing that much to the lanes, and then he shows up and kills Toothbooth. Give my man a break.
Very sorry, BB. I wasn't familiar with your game. I mean, now that that has happened, Toothbooth, no teleport either. They can't really go for the dragon, though. I mean, look at the control that Caitlyn and Morgana have over the bot lane. Aeon is there as well, so like he could respond to any play that the Lee Sin wants to make. You get these kills, but you're not able to actually convert it into any objectives. The dragon is still up. The grubs have spawned for like a minute and a half or so now, or rather like half a minute now. There hasn't been a lot of attention given over to them, which is what 4 Twinks and their father need to be doing. If you want to press the game forward, you have to be looking for these neutrals.
Oh, GFP just a pixel off from the flash hook on towards Heretic there. Was not a Black Shield available. Could have been a big play. Did not work out. And now this dragon might go the way of Samsara. Let's see if BB's willing to risk it for the biscuit. He is not. And Samsara will pick up their first dragon here at about 9 minutes.
See, though, that BB will reset, get its first item of the game, and probably just, you know, jet it toward that top lane. Those grubs are up. He wants to look for a cross-map play, and Aeon not going for the reset either does mean that Lee Sin will have a numbers advantage, or rather an item advantage, I should say, going into this fight if it turns out to be a fight. But given that GFP is roaming, given that there is a timer for 4 Twinks and their father to all collectively move up toward that objective, I think Samsara would be in the wiser to just let that one go, potentially look for a play on the bot side. With Maokai roaming, he could Maokai resetting, he could maybe roam back down toward that bot lane and look to put some pressure onto War Cyclone.
Yeah. Eclipse completed for our friend BB here. Means this guy is built for combat. Definitely looking to continue to find fights for this Lee Sin as frequently as possible. Now going to go in for that kick, finds Toothbooth again. Fate sealed over the wall, this time going to be able to get out of safety, and the follow-up Sonic Wave does not connect. But control over this side of the jungle should go to 4Twinks. Here's the punish, though. War Cyclone, at risk of getting stunned, does go up into the Feather Storm, does not prevent the stun, though. There goes Ace in the hole, still staying alive for a little bit longer, but he will not be walking away from this one unless he can flash the Peacemaker. He will die to Ego. Tormented Soil getting the last bit done.
It's not the ideal allocation of gold as the support gets it, but it is still a kill nonetheless, and plenty of minions denied as this wave is going to crash under the turret. Beautiful recognition by Samsara's bot lane to pull the trigger onto War Cyclone. And yeah, all the while, grubs haven't been claimed. We've been talking about this objective being accessible to 4Twinks and their father for the past minute and a half, Gordo, and they haven't gone for it.
It didn't help him much in game number 1, but yeah, you definitely would like to see if you could pick that one up, if it could give you a little bit of power in side lanes where appropriate. But it's not the biggest side laning team comp for 4Twinks either. At some point, it's going to be the Yone who is running those side lanes, and it's not going to be anybody on 4Twinks really well equipped to be able to brawl with them. But yeah, I mean, just grabbing them to grab something definitely feels like something that will be worthwhile at some point.
Like, yeah. Because now, I mean, you're kind of surrendering control on other avenues. Toothbooth has been under his tower, so you're subjecting the Yone to a really rough laning phase. But like, what about the side lanes? We still have Kappa having that solo kill over the Galio, which is keeping this supposed to be counter matchup in favor of Team Samsara. Heretic and Love Ego are significantly ahead of War Cyclone and GFP. Like, a bunch of locations are suffering, and I just feel like the proactiveness that we need from the Lee Sin, it's 2 kills, but it's no objectives. It's not actually pushing the needle forward.
Titan finding another moment in, but the fate sealed onto him might give Toothbooth the space he needs to stay alive, and in fact it will.
This once again, War Cyclone pushed off of the wave because GFP is roaming, looking to protect his jungler around these grubs. Where was this 5 minutes ago? Where was this 3 minutes ago?
Yeah,
because now you give up a turret. It's not
Heretic. Wealthier than ever, gets himself that first turret gold, and it's exactly
over 10 CS a minute. As over 10 CS a minute, full Storm Razor complete, dragging up in about a minute. If this Caitlyn doesn't get like picked off before the fight, I feel like the battle is over before it begins, frankly.
Yeah, certainly a problematic state to be in here. BB here to contest another red buff, but this time solo laners are coming to collapse onto him. Toothbooth, nice dodge, but is going to be at risk of getting Dragon's Raged, and there it goes. GFP kind of bails him out partway through. Here comes Alorum for the dive in, but look at the damage that the Equalizer's doing to BB. He's going to fall on down. It's a 1-for-1 as Aeon falls as well. Frozen Titan going to be able to claim that kill, but now he's up too far. He's got nowhere left to go, and Toothbooth will claim the kill right back. Underneath is Kappa as he gets hooked in. That'll give a kill back to War Cyclone, but at the end of the day, it is a 3-for-2 fight won by Samsara.
GFP was out of range of the Flame Spitter.
Oh, did we lose Quacks? All right, we lost Quacks. He'll be back. It's not just me, but in the meantime, I mean, you know what Quacks was getting at. GFP was outside the range of the Flame Spitter. Hook cap under the turret, did pick up the kill for it. Alorum now finding some alone time in the top lane to pick up a little bit of turret plates. It's still a 1 fight for Samsara. The gold allocation feels good for 4Twinks, though, getting some money on towards those carries. Root onto War Cyclone. Pretty good, though. GFP going to have to take a back step to be able to block the ace in the hole. And this Dragon looking to be the site of a little bit more action. Frozen Titan trying to clear out waves on the bottom side. And 4Twinks trying to approach. They're pushing up mid, but the Dragon's already been started by Team Samsara, and I think they're going to be able to grab this one for themselves. Doesn't look like 4Twinks have much interest at all in being able to come on out and defend the Dragon take, so it will go over to Aeon. 4-2-5 on the scoreboard. A faint lead for Samsara in the gold, but feeling pretty good. Am hearing word that Quax has lost power, so hopefully he gets that back soon. I know there's a big storm hitting his area tonight, so hopefully he will be all good before too long. In the meantime, it's just me and you, everybody. Hope you're all having a fine evening. As there's Frozen Titan going in for another play. Toothbooth going to try to escape with the Fate Sealed. I don't think he's getting away this time, though. Stuck inside the alcove, trying for a recall, and Titan will take him down. Solo kill. Four Twinks are going to need this mid laner to keep showing up for them. Built up a nice lead during the laning phase. Has 2 kills now. He is going to need to be the big carry for Four Twinks as the rest of this game gets played out. Does get some alone time on the bottom side to clean up some of these plates. See what Team Samsara want to do in an attempt to respond. So far, looking like not much of anything. So Frozen Titan going to get a lot here in terms of gold. Let's see if Samsara can try to respond with a move onto the Rift Herald, but they're not really in position. Instead, Toothbooth going to TP towards the bottom. So that was several plates going into Frozen Titan. Pretty much for free. Well paid off for that solo kill. And it's going to bring the grand total for the gold pretty dang close to even. Opportunity for Four Twinks to be able to play well around this Azir. Potentially try to turn this game back in their favor. But you definitely wanted to be ahead at this point with the Lee Sin Blitzcrank composition. Did not work out that way. Black Shield going to come out. Not too much gained off of that rocket grab attempt. And Heretic and Lavigo going to keep their push going. Recalls being channeled by the Four Twinks bottom lane. Little ways to go till more action breaks out, unless this Rift Herald is going to be the site of more violence. They will be able to claim that mid lane turret. An attempted taunt to the top side. Kappa will be caught by this, and BB is in position, trying to chase him down, kicks him out of his own equalizer, and will be able to clean up that kill. 3 now in BB's pocket, and a numbers advantage on this side of the map if they want to get onto the Rift Herald. Does look like the Rift Herald is going to be the target. Jumping onto it, BB should be able to clean this one up. Doesn't look like Team Samsara are especially interested in contesting for it. Eon just coming back off a recall. Heretic looking for one of his own. So, little bit of breathing room given over to Four Twinks. They get themselves another turret. That's going to give them the gold lead for the first time in quite a bit. And will give them the Rift Herald as well to potentially be able to contest in and around this mid lane once the next dragon spawns in about 2 minutes. A nice job kind of stabilizing after what was not the best of early games for them. So the team fighting tools for TSR do certainly still have to give you somewhat of pause. A lot of non-committal engage, a lot of opportunity to lock down. Toothbooth maybe caught up a little bit too far, though. Does get the Fate Sealed onto 2, but doesn't have the damage to take out Titan. And now this ace in the hole going to be easily blocked away. Another kill to Titan, another kill onto Toothbooth, and another advantage for Four Twinks, who are really starting to stack up the gold onto this Azir now. He completes his Shadow Flame off that cash out, and will be redeploying out onto the map before too long. War Cyclone going to be able to claim this tower. And Four Twinks really starting to take control now. They find themselves at about a 1.5k gold lead. They're in a great position for this next dragon. I think this will determine whether they are able to really snowball this game into their favor, or whether Team Samsara are going to continue to be able to play for the win con of the Dragon's Soul. Team fighting tools do still need to be respected. Checking my Discord, Quax remains cooked. There's going to be another taunt onto Kappa. Alorum just trying to maintain control over that top side of the map. If neither TPs, I think that may very well be a win for Four Twinks. They can keep that equalizer out of the equation. He may just be trying to hold Kappa up there, though the power of the hero's entrance not to be disrespected either, especially with the mobility that this Lee Sin brings to the table to be able to get him deep behind enemy lines and allow those knockups to connect. Continuing to clear out vision on the bottom side, our Team Samsara, knowing that this dragon is going to be up in just a few seconds, although this is going to leave mid lane pretty exposed. The wave already pushed up, getting caught high by War Cyclone. The Rift Herald spawn hook connects onto Aeon, and down he goes before the fight even begins. Alorum going to pick up that kill credit. Inside the Herald is GFP. Not going to find knockups onto champions, but will be able to find the turret for the rest of Four Twinks. Root going to connect. It's on towards BB. It's blocked by Alorum, and this dragon is all for Twinks for the taking. A 3k gold advantage now built up for 4 Twinks as they claim themselves their first dragon of the game and take control over the entire bottom side of the map. Team Samsara, no response to be had. Kappa even used the TP, and it just meant nothing. 4 Twinks in a great position now with the TP advantage on Alorum, the gold advantage on the map, the dragon in their pocket, and that Baron ripe for the taking. They find an opportunity to do so. Currently reaping the rewards on the bottom side. They're going to be able to take away this blue buff. A major focus of BB's throughout the early game, finally going to be able to claim that one for himself. Meanwhile, Heretic and Love Ego redeployed up towards the top side. Alorum going to be able to TP to respond. Prevent any more gold than is necessary from going over towards Heretic, and Ego will equalize those TPs from Kappa having used his earlier on. Titan finding an isolated Toothbooth again, this time blocking him from getting too far away with the Fate Sealed, but BB is a little bit too little and a little bit too late. Will not be able to connect onto him and finish off that Yone, but continuing to bully this guy in the mid lane who's still on just one item here at about 21 minutes and is really hampering Team Samsara's ability to play out these later game fights, as is the fact that Eon got picked off before he even really got to play in that last team fight. Alorum potentially getting looked at by this Maokai. Aeon not going to be able to find an easy path onto him. GFP in the area. Knows that Love Ego and Heretic are here as well. Alorum stepping up in the one-on-one with Toothbooth, a different opponent than he has itemized for, but shouldn't be too huge of an issue for him to just wave clear with the Winds of War. Titan facing off his new solo lane opponent, does get hit by the ace in the hole. The shield going to be enough to keep him standing, and he will find the solo kill against Kappa, and he does get the escort out thanks to Cyclone and GFP. And once again, it's Titan making big plays on the map, finding these individual kills, and setting up 4 Twinks for success. Their mid laner, they gave him this first pick Azir, and it is paying off big time in this game number 2. He is so wealthy at this stage, clearly the wealthiest on the map, and is in such a good position to potentially be able to carry out this game. He's showing up to Toothbooth, and I mean, given where the items are at, he's going to be willing to continue to take these fights, especially if he has somebody in his back pocket. The Baron now potentially getting looked at here. There's 2.5 minutes before the next dragon going to be up. 4 Twinks would love to be able to pick that one up for themselves. They don't have the easiest siege in the world, especially up against the long-range Caitlyn and all the non-committal engage. Hook connects onto Aeon, kick back on towards Love Ego, and it does connect, but the damage isn't quite here yet. Here comes Alorum looking to keep this fight going, and here's Frozen Titan on the flank. Black Shield onto Heretic, going to expire here before too long. Titan's got the damage. He shuffles forward, gets one, but can't get any more. Melted down by the Flame Spitter of Kappa. Shut down gold to the Rumble. 1-for-1 in the fight, and the health bars got low, but Frozen Titan went up just a bit too far, and now TSR have control. They're going to be able to push their way through the mid lane here, moving back over, and it might just be a reset. Doesn't look like it's been a definitive enough advantage for them to be able to do much of anything, but that was a big commit from Titan and a big shutdown that he gave over to Kappa. Not going to result in any huge objective takes for either side, but certainly a great position for TSR to be able to stop that snowball. All right, Quax is very cooked here. We'll see if anybody is in the chat that wants to come hop on for a little bit of ACL cast. Open invite. Give me a little ping, or even better yet, give Caddy a little ping. We'll figure out how to get you on here. In the meantime, gonna continue to just hang out here with everybody. 4 Twinks now down to just 2k of a lead, but still feeling very confident in their Azir. And is this a 2-man Baron I see on my screen, or are they just clearing wards? They're clearing wards. All right, all good. Nobody panic. Kongji, you're in. You're invited. Yeah, sounds good, Kongji. Hang out in the Discord. I'll find a way to yank you when we get a chance after game number 2. There's War Cyclone potentially getting focused down. Does get out with the Feather Storm. I think had to use it, and now steps up aggressively. Toothbooth is hooked. He does still have the Fate, or the Soul Unbound, but it's too little and it's too late. GFP going to be able to claim that kill. And Toothbooth, through the Soul Unbound, picked off and killed. Very, very well done. And now going to be BB pushed out towards the top. All right, we have like a million people here too. So if you don't want to do it, Kongji, you don't have to. We'll put it all together. We'll find somebody to be able to jump on in one way or the other. No worries. As BB starting on to this Baron Titan, doing his best with it as well. And they're looking at this dragon, looking like they're going to be able to take it no problem. More Cyclone and GFP. No issues two-manning this one. ESR, just no positioning, no control over the bottom side at all. Their entire bottom side jungle warded out. And 4Twinks take that one no problem. Blue buff melted on down. Flamed by the likes of 4Twinks. And Toothbooth and then left on an island down on this bottom side. Doesn't want to step up too far. Kappa's found by Frozen Titan, and he does it again. His 6th of the game. I'm pretty sure every kill has been like this. Shuffles in, grabs him with the Emperor's Divide, claims another 300 in the pocket, and pushes 4Twinks back into a controlling state. Now nobody answering him on the top side. Going to be able to shove in this wave. The rest of the team taking the recall. They might be thinking about redeploying for Baron here. Although BB interrupted, too far up, caught by the Dark Binding, but able to dash and flash to get out of the chains. Soul Shackles not going to be enough to lock down Lee Sin. He will get away for now, but rest of 4Twinks now going to redeploy around mid lane. Nobody answering Toothbooth for now. It looks like that's going to be Titan's job. TP almost back for Toothbooth here, so if the Baron becomes the focus, both the mid laners would be able to get over there in time. Does look like Toothbooth actually going to take a nice and early recall, just going to try to walk his way down. Continuing to work on the mid lane. 4Twinks now up 12-6 on the scoreboard. 4K gold in their favor. Baron, name of the game. Aeon going to be able to claim this. And now they're going to start right onto the Baron. They have the vision from the Scuttler. 16k HP. Rest of 4Twinks have got to respond to this. They have a blue ward, but the only one they've got is on Titan. They can't get in here. They have not been able to see what's going on. Surely they have some idea now. They need the TP. Titan coming on over. Hook connects on a Kappa. They should be able to get this Rumble. No equalizer gets to be used. Baron gonna get smoted down, but what about the team fight afterwards? Alorum staying on top of Ego. Here comes BB looking for a major Dragon's Rage. Cannot connect the Sonic Wave. And now going to have to try to find an alternative way in. Dashes in. Gets Alorum in there with the heroic entrance. Shutdown is secured for Heretic. Kill back onto Ego. Alorum needs to get more. Needs to take these Barons off the map, but they can't find the lockdown. And 4Twinks will be able to get 2 Barons off the map, but TSR happy to claim that buff. I heard somebody join me. Bach, is that you, brother?
Oh, it's me, and I'm ready.
Welcome to the cast, Bach. I'm happy to have you here, man. All right, hang on. I need to... Okay, I got it. War Cyclone's dead. I'm casting, but I also have to get Bach the game feed. Here you go, brother.
Man of many talents. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm doing a lot at once here, brother, but I'm happy to have you. Everybody welcome Coach Bach to the stream. Thank you for bailing us out, my friend. And yeah, welcome to game number 2. It's looking like there might be a game number 3.
No. Team Samsara has got them right where they want them. Toothbooth is 2-5. This is par for the course. I'm very confident in Team Samsara.
All right, prediction locked in. We'll see if... Oh, wait, Titan's got another one. This one, perhaps the most egregious of the game, as Kappa just face checks into the ping brush and nowhere to go. Down he goes. So, Ego coming in on the side. Will they be able to pick up much of anything here? Toothbooth doesn't have the Fate sealed, can't really get himself in. Ego looking for maybe a big flank, gets at least a Rylai's slow. Hook connects, that's on a War Cyclone. He's taunted up and taken down. Ego melted down just as easily, and Frozen Titan's just taking names across the map. He's gotten 3 on this bottom side fight, and it's about to be 4 if he steps up to finish off Toothbooth. Allura might get it instead. 4 kills to 4Twinks.
I mean, Gordo, would you like to play a game with me real quick?
I would love to.
Okay, this game is called Counting to 5 with Coach Bach. And I teach this to some of my like emerald level teams when I coach them. It's like, okay, guys, if our team cannot come close to counting to number 5 and theirs can, we don't take a fight. So I think it's maybe something Team Samsara game they can play later on. You know? But just some food for thought.
You might be able to help them out. I can see it. It feels like it's been, although to be honest, a lot of the time it's been 1v1. It's been Titan making these picks in the side lanes for probably about the last, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes or so. But
yeah, well, here's the deal, right? Like you're allowed to make mistakes, right? Like when Kappa gets caught out because his jungler's in base, it is what it is, right? But then the rest of the team's like, ooh, get me in on that action, dude. Let me fight some of that. They don't have to do all that, man. They can just say, not my problem. I don't know that guy.
I buy that. I'm sold.
Okay.
All right, GFP stepping up in mid. Aeon over the wall, looking to get this fight started onto Alorum. Alorum going to have to tank up 5 members here for a little bit. A lot of work for the father of the team, and down he goes. Shut down, picked up for Toothbooth. And now 5 versus 4 on the map. TSR on the verge of getting onto Soul Point.
And hey, look what happens when Team Samsara actually show up and have 5 people at the same spot. They lose, or they win the fight even down 6k gold. Beautiful.
Defaulting to they lose is it's devious.
Yeah, sorry.
There,
I've been hurt too many times before. I'm coming off of an ACL loss. I got some.
That's true.
You know, there's a punching bag in front of me.
Yeah, you got a little hatred in your heart for the day.
I love Team Samsara. These are my boys.
There you go. Well, you criticize because you believe in them. As all right, a little bit of peace on the map, a little bit of calm. I'm sorry, I'm savoring the ability to not talk after 15 minutes nonstop. As we do find ourselves almost 32 minutes into the game, Soul Point for TSR, still the gold lead. In fact, the biggest gold lead yet, over to 4 Twinks. And the whole question of the game is going to remain Frozen Titan. And if TSR can find a way to stop this guy before he takes over the team fights, he's so far ahead, he's almost full build.
Well, as long as TSR have first setup, Azir is Omega Turbo homeless this game. It's like who on Foursquare? What is this team's name? Their father. 4 Twinks, of course, naturally. Who's really taking space into Maokai, Caitlyn, Morgana? So it's really Team Samsara's game to lose. They only lose if they try to skirmish in side lane into the Azir for some reason. But here, you know, Kappa's, you know, yeah, you know what, dude? You might be onto something.
Welcome to the caster curse, Spock. It's something you get used to a little bit. Yeah, he's dead. Real question is just no. Down he goes. Let's see what Team Samsara can do to kind of stem the bleeding in the meantime. Frozen Titan going to get back. Maybe he has his Banshees now. Maybe he just wants to be at full HP. Does have the teleport available. And no, that's a Banshees. He's got it. That's full build. Full build on the Azir. It doesn't get any better than this.
At 33 minutes? Yeah, geez. He's up basically 2 items on Yone, or an item and a half. But not really a good defensive item. I don't know how good the Banshees is into champs like Maokai, though. I feel like you just eat 1 sapling. But I
guess it depends on how many Dark Bindings you intend to tank this game. As there's going to be Toothbooth launching himself in with the Fate Sealed. And Alarm going to look to keep the fight going now. Good dodge on the Justice Punch using the Soul Unbound. And the TP from Frozen Titan doesn't do a ton, but he did get the push going in bottom lane right as the Baron spawns.
I mean, this is a great bait from them. Like, anytime you can bait out a TP on, like, the Azir and the Frozen Titan, it now means Azir really can't put pressure on the cross map when Baron is spawning. So, IMO TSR should have used this as a way to get tempo back into mid and kind of stop. Oh,
whoa. BB trying to get in there. They do find the knockup. Good flash from Aeon. Going to get himself out of Dragon's Rage range. It's going to be War Cyclone coming in on the flank, trying to get the Feather Pull. Gets some damage, but no roots. Aeon at about half, and that's about all you can say about that fight. BB now caught out. Toothbooth gets his man. Dragon's Rage used defensively to get BB out of danger.
I mean, that kind of kills all their momentum right before. Dude, every time we think the fight's over, it keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, that was... Heretic owes Love Ego a life debt there. That was almost very bad. That was almost an easy pick onto the Caitlyn. Gets thwarted by a well-placed Black Shield. And out goes Heretic.
Yeah. So like even with both objectives up right now, I think both teams should really not want to trade this, because like Azir Xayah can absolutely melt this Baron, but giving Soul, like Ocean Soul, to like the Maokai Rumble Yone comp is not going to be a fun game to play. So we should just see them matching into mid, and kind of just whatever team messes up first is going to be the one that wins this game. This is like a one fight game we're coming down to right now.
Yep. Getting close to that territory. The TP in from Kappa. They are going to start onto the Baron. Oh boy, it's taking damage pretty fast. It's down below half HP. Toothbooth is still TPing. Equalizer comes down. Baron smited by 4 Twinks, but can they get out of the follow-up fight? War Cyclone forced to cleanse. Alorum going to be the sacrificial lamb.
Beautiful.
And Kappa will claim that kill, but 4 Barons escape the pit.
I think it's completely fine. They have first track in a mid. They can break tier 2, take control of bot lane. Rumble can eat this top wave, and then they get free soul here, and they're down Galio for like a third of their Baron. So yeah, this is really chill macro. I wish Rumble would have pushed that wave.
Well, we're going to see what the punishment is going to be. Hook comes on through. GFP going to fall, but he will get the pick back out of Toothbooth, and going to fall down as well. But the lockdown is good on the Titan. He claims 3 before falling. Heretic and Kappa left alive against War Cyclone, and the face check, the flash forward! It's a shutdown! It's War Cyclone picking up the kill against Heretic, and now it's just Kappa alone on the map.
Yeah, Toothbooth, a little bit less Path of Exile, a little bit more playing League of Legends, please, buddy. Let's get it going.
I'm trying to get through that Heretic flash, man. That's got to be a fat finger, right? Or was he going for some forbidden combo?
Maybe he was trying to flash the feather pullback. I'm not going to lie, I was still having a stroke from what Toothbooth did. So
yeah, no, that's fair as well. Yeah, it's
like that. How to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, though. It's like you're up numbers, you're up positioning. Yeah, what if we just killed ourselves for fun in their jungle? W.
Well, you gotta love a strong Azir. And yeah, Frozen Titan.
He's playing like a monster.
He's insane, man. I mean, this is one of the better first pick Azirs I've seen in a while. Quax was putting some mud on the Azir name before you came on here, Bach. He's saying the champion's been a little nerfed. Isn't quite what it was.
This is the buffed Azir patch, or actually last patch Azir was buffed. He's not seeing a lot of prio because I think we're doing that like collective amnesia bullshit we do whenever a champion gets buffed, and we pretend it isn't strong for like 3 patches until somebody in an Asian region.
Oh, that's a good Nature's Grasp and a good follow-up with the Equalizer, but I don't know that it's going to be enough. They're going to be able to get Aeon nice and early. It's a trade of him for the Galio. BB getting in there, rooted immediately, and one shot by Heretic. It's a 3v4 on the map. Toothboot's still up there. Gonna be able to blink back in time. Ace in the hole, not doing too much, and they're going to play around the Azir turret for now.
Noticing this Maokai build, this is Mikhail's Locket Maokai with Leandri's. You really don't want to be committing any W's to your engage unless it's on the Azir and you're one-shotting him, in my opinion. So, but once again, they're kind of playing their comp correctly here. They're just Maokai ulting, they're hitting first target, they're not diving super far in, and it's hard for Azir to hit freely, so they're just going to always come out ahead in numbers trade.
Yeah, it's kind of the best Maokai ult you could hope for. Like, you manage to get 3 people close enough to where they can all be equalizered, but far enough to where somehow they all get hit by individual roots. Can't really ask for anything better than that, and going to not really get a lasting permanent lead off of it, but I mean, obviously, we're deep enough into the game where the gold basically means nothing here. We've been at full build Azir for a while, and this next dragon is going to be sold, and everybody's going to be back up for it, as are all the cooldown.
Yeah, but it's a soul for both teams, so it's kind of going to be a little scary here, and it's going to be the Baron Dragon soul standoff again. And if 4 Twinks and one guy, what is it? 4 Twinks and Grandpa?
Their father.
Okay, 4 Twinks and their father do the same thing as before, and they just rip on spawn the Nash, like they can just do it and then still make it to midwave for the drag setup. So
for sure. Well, ping-ponging waves in mid for now. It's somehow Ego's job to clear these out for the time being. Heretic on route, be able to get on over there. Continuing to deny buffs. Better than nothing, but unlikely to be hugely impactful. Trying to keep these waves shoved on up are 4 Twinks, and King's on towards the top inhibitor turret. I don't think that's going to get sieged anytime soon by this composition.
It's pretty chill macro. This is like you deep push top lane, so you can have a timer to deep push bot lane, and then you can open up Baron with like good setup here. So they should overload bot on this timer. Maybe send one person mid and then 4 bot. Realistically, it should be Galio mid on this timer though.
Hope so.
Not Azir.
Maybe looking for a pick on the Tooth Booth. Can't blame him. It's happened a lot this game, but not this time. Booth backing on away now that the clock has ticked 40. There's a minute 10. There will be a 30-second window where Baron is up and Dragon is not. And both teams posturing like they are aware of that fact.
Oh, we had someone join.
Hello.
Oh, who else is in
Are
here?
we live?
Gato? Hey,
Yeah.
we're TriCasting now, baby. Welcome.
Are we
aboard.
live?
How's it going?
We're live.
Good.
We're live. We're here.
live.
Come on
I
in.
need to.
Hop in
Okay,
the
what are the
stream.
stakes of this game? How's it going?
We're at nearly 41 minutes. It's going to come down to one
Damn.
more team fight. Azir is fed as all hell. Team Samsara have the better team comp.
Take a look. I need to acclimate myself quickly. All right. So 1 minute on Dragon. It's sold for both teams, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely here. And we should be... Oh, there's a flash hook attempt from GFP. Not going to quite find it, although there is BB on the Heretic into the Guardian Angel. Nature's Grasp finds its way through, does not get onto Cyclone, and Titan still manages to keep himself alive. Equalizer rained down back into the mid lane, doesn't accomplish too much. Lots of cooldowns used, no bodies hit the floor.
Yeah, the GA down is a big part of this, and Caitlyn not having access to anywhere on the map to put down the traps. But now, instead of maybe the Soul, looking to go for the Baron instead. You have 20 seconds on the Dragon, so the Baron will go down first, and then TSR will still have an opportunity to fight the Dragon. Hook!
Hook onto Ego, going to be followed up with a taunt, but there is no damage to be found. BB's got nowhere to go. He's just trying to kill the support. We'll be able to get him, but look at the base. In goes Cyclone and Titan. How many recalls can they interrupt? So far, it's just Heretic, and that's all it is going to be. Kappa on the TP. Heretic falls down. The carries are pushed back. The game goes on, Bach.
Man. Shameless, dude. Just let your Caitlyn die like that, dude. True.
If you were the Caitlyn in this scenario, how would you feel?
Somebody help me, please!
I'm just thinking, I'm thanking God that the base didn't die, man. I had no influence over whether that base lived or died. But this is going to be Soul. Soul picked up for Fort Twinks and their father.
Thanos Galio.
That is the team name, yes. I'm not just I'm not ripping that one off the dome, I promise.
Oh yes, what a name. I mean, so far I feel like we've seen I've seen pretty solid Lee Sin play. Always good to see. It becomes harder and harder to play this champion as the game goes on, and now in the Siege, no Baron, and the Baron was taken by TSR, right? So you have Soul, you break this inhib. Can you really get anything else? Probably not. So realistically, we're probably going to go to an Elder fight.
Yeah. Kappa and Tooth Booth are wearing the Barons, if I'm not mistaken. So they still have that to work with. Bach, does Ocean Soul matter to you here? I'm curious.
It matters for level 20 full tank Galio. I think it's going to be really hard.
Thunder Sky Lee Sin with GA. I mean, he's getting the healing too.
Yeah, it could happen. BB and I mean, he's kind of like find a huge Dragon's Rage or bust at this point, right?
Yeah, this is true. I just came from like another cast, and in both of those games, they were both Ocean Soul, and now it's Ocean Soul again.
Casts today, dude.
This is true. I'm with you tonight. If I see any more Ocean Souls tonight, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. This is the third in a row. Yeah.
Very nice.
You feel like an astronaut in the ocean?
It's been a hot minute. I almost didn't get the reference. It's been a little bit.
Okay. Sorry.
That was like COVID time.
Don't worry.
Someone's popping off.
That was.
I don't know why. That song and Among Us just go hand in hand to me.
I've never made the connection, but I get it.
Like it just is the same time. I don't know if I've ever seen any Among Us astronaut in the ocean edits. Maybe I'm sure there are, but it feels at the same time to me.
I think you're right. Got to be
the nostalgia cycle.
Yeah, same half decade period for sure. But I do think we got another fight breaking out here before too long. At the very least, we're going to keep ping-ponging mid waves until another objective spawns.
Side lanes aren't real. Just don't worry about top. Don't worry about catching it. Just keep A-ramming. I think it's, like, unironically quite hard for Twinks to start the fight without, like, a hook, right? That's great. But if it misses, it's a really long cooldown. If you hook like Maokai, he's pretty, like, he might be able to live. If you hook a spell shield on Kappa, there's that too. But other than that, you're relying on Lee Sin completely teching on everybody. And for TSR, like, you've got a genuinely really strong team fight. You know, you've got bindings to fish, right? Which is kind of similar to hooks. But then you've got the Maokai ult, which is great. You've got Yone, who can approach from a flank angle, you know, get a Fate Seal going. The Rumble ult with Maokai is really nice. I think that if 4 Twinks make a mistake, despite the soul, I agree. It's not really the most impactful soul this game. It doesn't stop you from getting one shot, and it doesn't really help you one shot them anymore. So TSR just need to bide their time. Elder, Baron coming. You could even give Baron and go for an Elder fight, but then you're, you know, walking into Blitzcrank is a bit tough.
I don't like the macro from 4 Twinks right now. We should be using our push mid to have Azir on top, and we should be taking control over their top quadrant and trying to break this third inhib in this time before these objectives spawn, not just like doing nothing.
Side lanes don't exist. We need to aim.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, for Team Samsara, they want to take these fights around mid where they have first setup. Yeah. They desperately want that. But like, I know you're being facetious right now, but
no, I agree. I think the Azir is really strong on the side lane.
Does appear to be doing a bit of side laning here. He is pulling in this wave towards the last remaining inhibitor. It's a catch on a BB, but BB's catching Heretic. Who's catching who? Into the GA goes BB. Here comes Alorum for the backup, but he's cut off from the rest of his team. The respawned BB is executed immediately. Now Alorum might be in too deep. He's got to flash back over the wall and see if he can get himself out of this mess, because it's a numbers advantage to Team Samsara.
I don't even know how Lee Sin got there on the map, but he did. He was able to get behind everybody and get what looked like one shot by Caitlyn and Maokai together. The Lee Sin will spawn relatively close to Baron being up, but it will probably be down by the time. I mean, map control fully going over to TSR right now. Look at the wards already. As soon as they have priority on the map, it's all lit up on the bot side.
Big props to Kappa for the Rumble ult, by the way. His ult was placed in such a way where Azir couldn't really connect to the Galio and Lee Sin there, so it was just basically like a 2v4. So, I don't know, just a good, well-played fight, good ability usage.
Toothbooth grabbing a huge wave in bot, so a little cut off from the team for a little bit, and Cyclone sees it! Tries to get onto Aeon, cannot quite lock him down, but that is a lot of damage, and the Nature's Grasp out of the Maokai somehow connects on towards Alorum, who also is able to eat the Dark Binding. Does get himself out of there. This is where the Ocean Soul might make a difference.
Yep.
Quite nice.
Having to, like, reflexively pop Maokai ult like that from a position where you don't hold control is, like, always really ass. Or, sorry, crap.
It's all right. I think the stream can handle it. Toothbooth hooked in, gets back the soul unbound, flash forced out of Kappa as GFP nearly finds his rocket grab target. Toothbooth solo now, trying to regen back up, getting quite a bit actually, thanks to that Bloodthirster Blade of the Ruin King combo.
Oh my god.
Now the Elder getting worked on by 4 Twinks. Meanwhile, Team Samsara making their way up towards the Baron. Or Cyclone gonna be able to rip through this Elder pretty fast alongside Titan, but the Baron will go to Team Samsara. It's an epic buff battle.
Does anybody have Gathering Storm in this game? Because this is a minimum 50-minute game. I can't believe they handshook Elder Baron. Both teams like, yeah, we're happy with this buff. This genuinely just might be another stalemate into another Baron Elder.
This is a long game. This is a banger, I do have to say.
Yeah, so none here. Does he have it? I can't see. No, that's Scorch. That's not it.
If there were 4 Twinks standing around the Elder and then Alorum showed up, which one would be the father? If they're both the Elder, you know?
Oh, that's a good
Does Azir have it, Caddy?
Who's older, the Elder, Drake, or Alorum?
Does Azir have Gathering Storm? No, he doesn't. He has Resolve secondary. Okay, no Gathering Storms. That's unfortunate.
It is. We're too Scorch-pilled.
Scorch is a rune. It does damage. It has a number.
It does. As we continue this siege, the Elder, so threatening for this fight. They will be able to take the inhib. Toothbooth is side laning. Does have himself the push out of the bottom side. It's a flash forward from War Cyclone. It's a pull back onto Eon thanks to BB. He jumps back with the safeguard. War Cyclone in the front line, though, going to get blown up pretty dang fast. Still does have the GA, and now forced into his own GA is Heretic. He's going to come out with GFP right on top of him. It's a team fight win for 4 Twinks and their father, and 4 Twinks will take us to game number 3. We're hanging out for one more game, boys.
Holy cow.
Well, the deep and thorough analysis that I can give of this game, because I definitely saw it. Elder's a good buff. Get Elder.
Let's go.
Fight Elder.
Fuck, you saw this whole game, right? No, hey, well,
lots of the game,
forward, brother.
Why am I Peepo happy, dude? What's up with that?
I don't know. We don't have a. We didn't want to force you to give a video.
Which one would you prefer? Is there another Pepe meme you'd prefer to be?
I'm a happy Pepe right now. I get to be joined by two wonderful gentlemen on a cast like this. Well, I probably will be leaving right after this, but
you're free to go if you don't want to. If you don't want to take the TriCast for a third game.
I don't want to cramp your style, but
what's your? Are you involved with Team Samsara? Are you working as coach for them, or are you just chilling out as a fan?
Oh, I'm literally not allowed to, right? Because of NACL, and they're in ACL.
True. You're not allowed to. That is a good point.
You know how Draxer was like the shadow GM of every single NACL player? I'm basically like that with every team ACL and under right now.
Oh yeah.
Like I just kind of
like even the gold leagues.
Unironically, some of like the D4 capped leagues, some of like the Masters 100 leagues, dude. I'm everywhere, man. Ask these players. But yeah.
So have you built any of the teams in LPL's financial division? So we may have a bonus pick with you if you have.
No, only in Aegis, not in any of these other leagues. Sorry.
Okay. As Shadow GM, what do you think about 72,000 damage Caitlyn losing the game?
If I'm Heretic, I am probably not very happy. But then again, if he has that much damage, then he should have probably carried the game. So noob down, you know?
Spoken here, noob down.
Absolutely true. And what a game. What a banger. We cycled through 4 casters. We got ourselves a 50-minute game. And now we have ourselves a game 3. I mean, you just got to give all the flowers you can to Frozen Titan, right? He did so much, found so many solo kills in the side lanes, was uber fed on the Azir. Yes, the game went long enough to where he wasn't the only one on 6 items, but he certainly played a huge role in 4 Twinks being able to hold on as long as they did.
Well, I mean, we're going into obviously game 3 now after the break, but yeah, that's a tough one, like mentally, I guess. 50-minute game and then you have to load back up for a third. When I think with the comp and some better fighting or maybe some smarter macro around the Elder, you could have maybe it wasn't like Ocean Soul wins you the game there, in my opinion, and oh sorry guys, we just go next. But I didn't see the whole game, but going for 50 minutes back and forth, getting the soul point, not getting it, it's a tough one. It can be a tough one for both teams, so hopefully both these teams can refresh themselves, renew their mental status, take a quick sip of water, and lock back in for a third game.
Absolutely. Bach, any parting thoughts for either or both teams?
Yeah, dude, I've been seeing this thing on Twitter where you're supposed to put peanuts in Coca-Cola and it's supposed to taste good. I don't know. I think that, yeah, I might have to try that. But in regards to the games, man, just shout outs to both teams. If we're at the level of play where it doesn't matter, like we can just play our draft however. Like I didn't see the team that was good at side lane effectively one time, and then I didn't see the team that valued first setup play with their first setup effectively one time and make it count. So really, guys, like let's get our heads out of our bums here and start understanding what our comp is good at and whose job is whose. And then I think both teams kind of have what it takes to take this game 3. Just whatever team can do it better. Because I really hate this. Let's just rely on one person getting really fed and flipping some fights mentality. We're better than that, guys. NA number 1.
Thank you very much, Buck. And looking forward to seeing you in chat for game at number 3. We're going to throw it to a quick break because we know these teams are ready and rearing to go for a game at number 3. We'll see everybody on the other side. All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you got your drink of water or whatever else you were looking for, because like I said, these teams are ready to get into draft once again. Beto, you're going to be joining me for the rest of the series, which is one more game. Thank you very much. Happy to have you here. We're going to be back on LPL later as well. It's going to be a long Gordo and Beto evening.
Yes, that's good though, because I like casting with you. But I get to look at the draft for game number 1 here. Just to acclimate myself to what's been taken out, the Corki, the Karma, Varus first pick here. So I'm surprised Orianna was let through. I assume it won. Yes, I assume that Orianna has to have won that game because there's no way Orianna's losing.
Yes, it did. Sorry.
Cool. So let's have a look. Rumble's been picked. A lot of these priorities that I've been seeing, LCK and the LEC are back. Obviously, we're back tonight with the LPL. So trying to get a groove for what's been really, really prioritized. Rise, a champion that has been played a ton of and hasn't been picked up just of yet. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But against the Varus, you could go Sivir. The Sivir matchup has been something teams have been happy to handshake, although you do run into some awkward situations. Do you pick Alistar with it? Do you let the Varus play Alistar? That's not the best lane, but it's good into Sivir. Karma's out. Do you go Nico with the Sivir? Do you want to give Varus the Nico? All things I'm assuming that TSR are talking about right now, but we'll have to see what they do end up going for.
Certainly. It is going to be the Silas ban is interesting. I wonder if this signifies a Malphite maybe soon to visit us, as otherwise I don't know why you'd ban that. We'll find out if TSR is going to pry out over there. Zeri, nice
Yuumi, let's go
early. And it could certainly be Yuumi. It is noteworthy that if it was 4 Twinks, there's no way they would pick Yuumi here. They have been throwing caution to the wind as far as established bot lane duos go. There's a bit of a running joke we had through game 1 and 2. But yeah, Varus can be played with just about anything. So we will find out.
That could be Lulu.
Lulu's in the cards for sure. In fact, I think I prefer that to the Yuumi. I'm a bit of a Yuumi hater. Karma not available, of course.
Yeah. Zeri Nico doesn't sound that fun to me. I feel like you really want an enchanter. You could not pick it here and you could go it on 3. Have a look at a bit more of the draft. You could go a jungler. Vi, Vi's available. So you could go Vi, you could go Wukong as well if you wanted that. Not bad into the Varus. Or just pick topside. Get a good blind here with the Cassante. Yeah, sure. I think... And there's no Ambessa, no Rumble, no Sion, no Shogath. So, I mean, you could go Renekton. Or you could put the Varus top. And have fun.
That feels out of character for Alorum, but also weirdly in character for Alorum, because he always has a couple of spicy picks in the back pocket. So this could be on that list. But if it's not on that list, I would expect to see a more traditional tank coming out of Mr. Alorum. We'll find out. He used to play like on hit Nico top. That's kind of dead now. but that used to be one of his picks. He's still got the Urgot, I know. Could go for the Urgot this game. Find out where he will fall. Don't have to pick a support for the Varus here. Could take a remaining jungler, although the big prio ones are banned. There's Rek'Sai, so that is the more traditional Alorum pick, I would say, is to just play a little Rek'Sai top.
Yeah, we've haven't really seen a ton of the Rex. Like, it was really popular, I feel, earlier in the year. You know, Demacia Cup, Casper Cup, bit of the couple of the earlier weeks, and then it really fell off. No one was really been picking it. But it's still a good matchup into the tanks, you know, with the true damage, the max health damage as well. So, you know, it is a pick in the wheelhouse, and if it's a comfort pick for the top laner, then that makes a ton of sense. I think it, you know, can do well into the Cassante. I would love to see some kind of lockdown for the Zeri. It always, you know, Zeri, LeBlanc, champions like that, where you need to have, like, you know, Vayne, you need to have lockdown on them. If you don't, they can really run over a game. So, I mean, even, it might not feel great, but, you know, a Nautilus might be okay. A Poppy's banned, so that is quite nice. But it'll be the Wukong I was talking about earlier, junglers that are available. It does a decent job of interrupting Zeri and can gap close pretty effectively. I would like to see TSR here go towards a support and then ban counters. I think that you'd want to get a decent matchup with Zeri, because otherwise Lulu ban, maybe Yuumi ban, or, you know, maybe an engaged support ban. And then what are you picking with Zeri? I think Zeri really needs someone to play with her, whereas Varus can kind of play with anything.
I'm also curious about what Titan's pool is going to look like here, as this is a guy who usually wants to be on the more control mages of the world. Victor, Ori, Azir, all fearless away, and now potentially facing down a second round of bans that could be directed over towards him. We might have to see him kind of dig a little deep and find a pick here, especially if TSR, rather than going for support, do choose to go for mid and then ban away remaining options. See where their priorities are going to fall here. Coach Kongji is over in the chat. I know we almost had him on stream. We almost had four cast. That would have been something to behold. But it does look like it is going to be the Jace locked in. I wonder if this is for Aeon in the jungle.
But we saw a ton of the Jace jungle, earlier this year. It got nerfed and buffed around a bit, and seen it more in the top lane now. It could go mid as well, but it has been a bit here and there.
Top lane.
Yeah, unless the Cassante is really getting experimental, which I don't think is happening. I am surprised that we're not picking support here. So, like, I feel like TSR have jungle options and they have mid options. I don't know if you have to pick the Jace now. Maybe it's a comfort pick. I'm not quite sure. And if it is, I guess that makes sense. But still, now you're going to have to get banned out against support. Maybe TSR either have something up their sleeves, or they're happy to just pick an engaged support, pick a Nautilus themselves. They're actually banning the Nautilus, which tells me that they want either Rakan is good or an Enchanter support. But I don't think you're getting Enchanter supports after these bans.
Absolutely here. So we'll see. I mean, it's the Nautilus ban coming on through, so directing bans towards supports even with the Jace lock-in. It is an active mid-jungle flex, so it does make the work a little tough for Twinks, although they could just choose to ban Enchantress supports as well and limit what options are available for the Zeri. If they want to just ban, like, they could ban Yuumi Lulu here, and then it's like, what do you pick? Probably going, like, some kind of engaged support with the Zeri.
I like the Nautilus ban. It, you know, it does hamper that. Well, I was talking about, you know, guaranteed engage onto the Zeri, but there were other options as well. You know, Vi was available before the Wukong, and the Wukong does do a decent job into the... Oh, okay, so Lulu ban. So I'm thinking about... My problem with the TSR draft right now is it does feel a little bit all over the place. Cassante is like a weak side top here, and, you know, he can do well. The Zeri is your carry of the game. And then you have Jace. If it's Jace mid, you need setup. You know, you need a Maokai. Maokai would probably go pretty well in this draft. Maybe a Vi. Jace sounds not that great. You know, you probably need some AP damage. And then if it's Jace jungle, you know, where are you going? Galio? Galio is okay, I guess. Your Galio, Jace, Zeri sounds like a decent comp to me. I feel like we do need some kind of setup, though, because Otherwise, you are really free-handing these shock blasts, and there is a lot of dive on the other side already, and Varus can participate on that dive with his range.
Absolutely.
We're also taking a long time with the bans. They're really thinking.
Yeah, it's the bans. So yeah, chat has been concerned about this as well. The ban overlay and the pick overlay goes a little slower on here, so that we don't spend 4 straight minutes with nothing happening for spectacle.
Sure,
so that is by design somewhat. So picks and bans will be a little slower this season, and then the post pick ban spec delay will also be shorter as a result.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We're doing our best here. We're making it work on the live client. And before somebody suggests that you can just turn off spec delay, you do not want to see what happens if we just turn off spec delay, brother. So that's gotta stay for competitive integrity reasons. Nico gonna get banned away as a potential Varus duo. Do not mind seeing that one taken off the board. The Lulu ban was certainly predictable, and now maybe the Yuumi ban going to join it.
I mean, if you want to go in Enchanter, are we getting creative? Are we going Janna into the dive? It's not too bad. There's the Yuumi. Are we, Janna into Wukong Rek'Sai? It doesn't sound terrible, but I don't know how good Zeri Janna is. We're kind of scraping the barrel of enchanters now. Nami Zeri, that doesn't sound fun to me. So maybe it is just an engaged support. Maybe it's Zeri, Rel, Leona, Rakan. I think Rakan is quite good on both teams here with the Nautilus ban and the Poppy ban as well. So if you want to go Rakan, it is set up for the Jace. It's good for the Zeri. Like I said, Varus can kind of work with anything. I assume it's going to be poke Varus, although against an all-in from Zeri and most of the Cassante, it's not the best. But against a Jace, you really want you really want lethality and Zeri Sona. I know that's been getting picked a little bit. No,
I don't know. I'm just scrolling through Lovey's OPGG. There's the Rise. So it is Jace jungle. Unless it's like Sante support or some nonsense, but I'm not going to pay any attention to that. For Twinks, time to round out your draft. It's going to be a pick into the Rise for Titan. Certainly has plenty of longer range options left available. I would estimate like a Hui or something. Feels like it would make the most sense here. Fits in with the poke style that the Varus brings to you. Can synergize just fine with the AoE knockups of the Rek'Sai and the Wukong. My pick would be the Hui. And you can kind of go whatever engaged support you want. I mean, the Nautilus is banned, but let's take your pick of the litter. You could go for some kind of Bard or something if you want a little bit more range. You could go for the Rels, the Leonas of the world if you just want to try to get some lockdown. Definitely want to try to find something that has easy access to the Zeri, but that's going to be hard with the Nautilus ban. Yeah,
and okay, so the Ahri in the mid lane, that's nice. Does something against the Rise. So the problem is, I like the Hui call out. The options are like Cassiopeia, great into Rise, but not, and it's good into Zeri, but it's not good into Jace. He outranges you a lot. The Ahri is more of a team fighting. This is a very front to back now style comp. Like there is dive potential with the Rek'Sai, but Rek'Sai can go in. The rest of it is front to backy. So I would like a support that allows you to do that as well. Kind of one shot the first target. If the first target's Cassante, that's pretty hard to get through, but something like a Rel, a Leona would be nice. I think Leona can also stop Rakan, so maybe that's the option you want to go towards. However, with all of these,
or the Rakan too,
you could. That would allow a bit more shutdown onto the Zeri. My concern is, can Zeri Rise get shut down? And the Bard, it's good into Jace and Rise, but Zeri can kind of just get out of that. And now you're asking for an Enchanter.
Yeah.
Now you're asking for a range support.
I think TSR is asking for an Enchanter too. They're like, can we release one? Can we add another one to the game? I guess Melio's here, Sona's here, Janna's here, Soraka's here.
Sure.
I don't know. We are scraping the bottom of this barrel here, so let's see what Samsara wants to go for. If you lock in like Leona or Rel here, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Love Ego. I feel like you've
it makes sense for the comp, but it is like, come on, man. You're playing Zeri.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Let's everybody place their bets. Way on in. What are we gonna go for? Definitely feel like the Rakan. I mean, the Rakan could be fine if you want like an engager. I think Rakan is the pick. I think it's the best with the Zeri. There's the Sona, baby. Let's go.
Good call.
Let's go.
Good call.
Right.
The problem, I feel like TSR kind of backed himself into a corner with the Jace early. Maybe Jace was going to get banned, but I feel like if you go your support, your enchanted support on 3, ban away Nautilus, then you have options. You don't have to go Jace jungle. You could go an engaged jungler, because now we don't have any engage, and it is very, very late game scaling. Sona, Ryze, Zeri, but 4 Twinks are gonna run at you a lot all game, and if you can't survive that, it's not gonna have a good time.
No, it's not. All right. Well, now that we've made our way through the draft, this is game 3. This is for all the marbles. This is for potentially your first real win of the season. Both of these teams do have a win via forfeit, as a team in their group dropped. Rest in peace to you, Chicago, my local boys. But this is Team Samsara's first actual week of a match, because they were paired against U Chicago in week 1, and Four Twinks played against the number 1 team in their group in week 1 and also lost there, and perhaps the number 1 team in the tournament, depending on who you ask. Conviction Star looking plenty stacked for this split. A lot of ex-NACL names over on that team. Will and Cozy. Kachu was very close there for a while as well. So, with that in mind, which team is going to be able to win on out here? These are the Pool 2 and Pool 3 teams in the group, so they are, on paper, expected to finish top 3 across the board, and whoever wins this very well could be in the lead for top 2. So lots to be played for here in what's a single round robin group stage. So certainly do want to be able to take yourself that early advantage, and have the assumption that upsets aside, you will potentially be able to move your way up into first place in the standing.
Yeah, so let's take a look at these comps. I'm very happy it's not Varus top. I'm getting a bit sick of this pick, I can't lie. But in the lanes, I think 4 Twinks should be fine. Ryze will just push. Varus should have push. Rek'Sai, Cassante. Probably Rek'Sai favored because of the healing. But as the game goes longer and longer, I think that it comes down to like 4 Twinks. How well can you team fight? How well can this Bard have an impact? How well can you find targets? Because if you take a big team fight and it's not that well coordinated, and the enemy team has a Sona enhanced Zeri with Ryze and Actualizer, I don't think that fight is lasting very long. You probably just get one shot. There is so much damage, so much scaling, shielding as well. The movement speed, I think that TSR's comp, if goes as late as we had last game, will pop off. And with Ryze, I feel like you should have Gathering Storm, not Scorch. So if we do go mega late, there will be a singular maybe Gathering Storm there. But I can hear the game. There was a bit of an issue going on, but it was just a pause.
That's crazy that you can hear the game, because you're watching the game on my Discord stream and I can't hear the game, but that might just be my ears betraying me a little.
I can hear the music.
I got nothing. I can't hear it at all. Maybe it's my...
You hear the spawning
now
in?
I hear it. Now I hear it.
Yeah, okay.
There we go. All right. I think we're going to be in here before too long. There was a bit of a pause, is what took us a little bit longer to get on in. We have found our way through, and here we are. Ooh. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Pause. Don't panic. Welcome to game number 3. 4 Twinks and their father taking on Team Samsara one final time in the night.
All right. Before we get started, just in case this is a 50-minute game, Candy, can we check Varus, Ryze, and Zeri? Does Zeri have? Sorry, with the expanded runes, is that I can't see it? Is that no? That looks like Scorch. I can't see with the ZenMarket ad. I'll have to no. That one is Scorch and Mana Flow banned.
Here, wait. Let me see if I can OPGG these boys in the background. I got this.
Well, if they don't, I mean, the Scorch for Varus, I think it's Scorch, is nice, like in the lane. Rise has Gathering Storm. Nice. 15, no, he has Scorch. He has... Man, guys, it's good for the lane, okay? I don't think anyone else has it. Does Sona have it?
Wait, is this... This is crazy. I didn't even know. Does OPGG not give you this information anymore? It's only telling me Keystone.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
What about DPM LOL? That's where I've been getting all my info
I'm not
from
trying more
recently.
websites. You're free to do as you choose. But, let's get into the game. Let's get into some League of Legends. It is topside starts for both junglers, so looks like the bot lane going to be potentially impacted here one way or the other. And I'm very curious as to how Love Ego is going to be able to play out this early lane against Bard Varus, because this is, I still think, the lowest base statted champion in the game, unless Mel has passed it up from her various nerfs.
Yeah, poor Mel. But to be fair, people have been really hating on that for a while. We've been seeing a little bit of it, but take a look at this push so far in these lanes. Junglers starting off. Oh no, same sides. Wukong just going a little bit faster. Rek'Sai with the push because of the healing. Rise has push. He's going to base early for a tier. Actually took a massive HP trade and needs to base as well. Has no mana, but probably should have enough for tier. And then the Varus having push as well. This is good for Wukong. And he can kind of go to either side lane, leave mid alone. Pardon me. Maybe get a flash out of the Rise or the Ghost to make Ari's life a bit easier. But it will be that tier picked up. We've been seeing this a lot more recently, Gordo. The combat summoner in mid, Rise being one of the premier mages to do so, especially with the global. You know, him and Talia, who can get back to lane easily if need be, rotate between the towers without the TP, and use the summoner spell to great pardon me, use the summoner spell to great advantage in the fights.
Yeah, for sure. The Ghost, bit of a privilege to be able to take it and see if you're going to be able to actually get good combat value. And we have an awkward position for Heretic and Love Ego here as they're pushed away, although getting good return damage on a GFP. And here comes the Jace. Flash already used for the Bard. Shock Blast comes out. Does look like the Flash was forced off of GFP, as was the heal. Going to put you in a good position if you are the TSR bottom lane, but here comes BB looking to equalize mid lane gank, but Toothbooth hugging the bottom side. Not really in a vulnerable state. Has have Aeon coming up to back him up.
And the Flash and the heal already being used by Bard. It's only level 4, and Zeri W is already... Like, I feel like that ability, I know in past it has been an ability that has just completely one-shot you and it scales really well, but it's already doing so much damage. I'm worried. I'm concerned that if this Zeri doesn't get put down at all, level 6 is going to get hit. Level 6 Sona Zeri sounds pretty scary, and then the team fights aren't going to get any better. I do think that if you can find a pick for 4 Twinks, RA Charm, maybe Bard ult on somebody, then go in, kill that target, wait for cooldowns, go for the next one. I think that this comp is great, but that relies on this Zeri not being allowed to do literally whatever she wants, and we might be looking at something like that.
Definitely could see that. Well-positioned comp here. I mean, you do have somewhat reliable CC in the form of the Wukong and the Rek'Sai if you're able to get into a position, have your flash to be able to get on top of them, but definitely going to need to be a well-executed dive to be able to get onto this Zeri and get her out of the fight. And even if you do, some pretty good DPS to be had from the Rise and the Jace in this composition. So like the TSR been able to piece together for themselves here, it feels like that has been a consistent refrain throughout this series, is that we like team fighting team comps that TSR put together a little bit better. Didn't stop 4 Twinks from being able to take game number 2, though. They have been doing pretty well in the solo lanes throughout the series. Alorum taking some rough trades here. Kappa going to be able to find the stun. Kappa goes all out. And Alorum going to not be forced to flash, but taken very low. Flash forced out in bottom lane in the form of Ego, as BB shows up and gets that summoner down.
Yeah, very close in the top lane, but nice gank in the bot lane. No flash on the Sona. But my concern is still Zeri with the movement speed from ult, with the movement speed from Sona. Who actually catches the Zeri? She doesn't have cleanse. So if you do catch her with any CC, she will die. She can't move. But if this Zeri if Heretic can click really well, I don't actually see anyone who can reliably CC the Zeri. It's all freehand, you know, RA Charm. Wukong ult is probably the most reliable, but Bard ult is very telegraphed. Chains of Corruption is you know, hard to hit against a Zeri who has dash up and flash. So you have to be playing pretty well on 4Twinks to be able to lock down this Zeri. But Dragon's up. Neither team really wanting to start that so far. CS leads in our carry roles, pulling ahead for TSR though. Mid and bot lane both. The small CS advantage. Top is pretty much even. Jungle a little bit of a lead, but for the most part unimpactful. I'm concerned though still about these lanes. The CS is building. The all-ins are, you know, real now. Zeri is just base. She has level 6 plus the enhanced pot. That level 6 all-in with Zeri is really scary.
Yeah, oh, and that's a commitment. A Cyclone in the jungle. Aeon forced to flash away as the damage of BB is just too much to handle when he gets the first strike. We'll be able to get that Jace out of there. We'll be able to secure the red buff as well. Nicely played by BB. Oh, good read. Kappa, though, does channel the stun, knowing that the tunnel is coming through, and gets another good trade onto Alorum.
Kappa is going very Cassante favored. Not so much the CS. It's building up now, but it was even just before that. I'm actually really surprised that Kappa is playing it so well, to the point where Alorum is completely under tower, zoned away under his tower, away from minions. Kappa is still fighting, now taking tower aggro. Does have ult, but he's got to be careful about where he pulls this Rek'Sai. If it remains under tower, it's a bit scary. We'll just be able to now walk away and go back. The healing from Rek'Sai is nice, but it's nowhere near enough to actually matter with the Bramble Vest already been built.
Yeah, oh, and there's going to be the jump in from Aeon, and looks like there's nowhere for War Cyclone to go. First blood picked up for Aeon Crystal, and he's gonna make it 2 on the board for TSR. Great position coming into the bottom lane through the control ward.
Bit awkward. Zeri did flash to try to get one of those kills, and they both went over to the Jace, but it is still first blood and second blood too over to this Jace. The level 6 all in. Pop that pot. Ulted. So much damage from Zeri. Great angle from Jace. Now starting up the Dragon. So TSR have a pretty decent gold lead, right? The CS is actually really building for Cassante, building for the Rise, and after those 2 kills with Jace, 2 assists as well, and that'll allow even more CS to be picked up by Zeri. Although Varus is back now to clean up some of this wave. And the Dragon, the game's going quite nice. Gank behind here from Bard. It would be fine to walk away.
GFP has been doing this all series. This one less egregious than others, but it has. I feel like it has never been good for 4Twinks. It just keeps rolling up to these tank top lane matchups and not really able to offer very much. And meanwhile, it results in War Cyclone getting dove. And yeah, this is a very similar result from every time GFP has gone top. I don't like it.
Well, at least there's no dive because the wave wasn't big enough. And I'm actually surprised the TSR didn't stay and deny this wave. I feel like Jace should be here, zoning Varus away. Yeah, Bard's here, but does Bard really make the 3v2 any better? Especially when Rise can ult down and Zeri and Sona both have ult. Varus no cleanse. I mean, any CC from the Sona does insta-kill this Varus, but instead it'll just be a back away. So, flash out and ghost.
Knockup connects, and there's the guaranteed charm, and down goes 2. Nice gank towards mid from BB. Gets War Cyclone rolling, or Frozen Titan rather, rolling. And he has been the major carry for this team in the night. They need to get Frozen Titan back in control, and that is a great start to doing so.
Yeah, that's a nice little kill. So
Whoa!
transcription will go wide. But nice attempt. Good stun there at the end. But
Adagio
yeah,
summoner.
The gold lead was building in mid. Now, a little bit of tilt back in favor of the Ari a little bit. So that's good. Kappa is, he's doing things up in this top lane. He is very hard winning. The CS is really becoming a problem now. Every item that Kappa puts together, this lane is getting harder and harder.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, what a showing from Kappa here. Oh, wait a second. War Cyclone. And pushed back, gets hit by Crescendo, gets hit by the Lightning Crash, but a nicely placed Tempered Fate comes through from GFP. We'll be able to get him out of there. There's the all out. There's Kappa finding his moment again. Ooh. Dashes forward, looking for the damage. Good idea on towards Aloran, but will not be able to get it. Meanwhile, the stun comes on through. Cosmic Binding gets the kill onto Ego, but the dive from Aeons. Enough once again. Another double kill to the Jace.
The Sona does die, but the kill goes over to the Bard, so very unimpactful. You'd love one of these kills over to Zeri. Maybe the tower last played over to Zeri, but instead, Aeon getting a lot of the gold in his pocket. And that'll be the first tower as well. So a big lead in jungle and a decent one building for this Zeri as well. I am super concerned about how 4Twinks are going to answer. Because you're outranged massively by the Jace. You can't lock down a Zeri. Now Zeri has Yunta completed. You can't win the 1v, so the 2v2 ever. Sona has Echoes of Hellier built. I'm assuming is going to go the diadem item, although it would not make sense to me because you don't have tier. But I don't know why you wouldn't go tier on Sona these days. Hoping to see a tier, or it's pretty late. Either way, TSR are prime for this late game. 4Twinks, this is the part, one item onwards, where they start becoming strong. You need to start fighting together, looking for these picks, either on side lane, but mostly trying to, you know, run at the Jace, deny him camps, get these dragons stacking, stop the Zeri from doing anything she wants, because right now she's doing anything she wants.
Yep, and now finding herself in a pretty safe 2v1 lane. You can see 4T making a vested effort to get members up here and deal with Heretic. He's going to be able to dash right out of that Tempered Fate. EFP takes a swing and misses, and now nobody's answering Kappa on the other side of the map, so this is all gravy for TSR. They don't even have to stop Heretic farming.
It is a bit hard to hit the baseball when the baseball is all over the place, but there's a Jace here behind.
Oh, that's a bad crescendo, and that might be an opening here. On towards Heretic, shut down, picked up by BB. Ego, nowhere to go. Down he goes as well. Quick two kills, picked up for 4Twinks, and now Titan finding an angle in onto Toothbooth, gonna be able to get the solo bolo. It's 3 kills to 4T.
Well, there is the win condition for 4Twinks. 1 CC hits Heretic, and the rest get chained together, and he just dies. The Sona ult completely missed. And then a solo kill in mid as well. Toothbooth is having a rough time in the 1v1, specifically after, you know, the CS was going well in the beginning of the game. But 4Twinks are looking pretty good. The problem is they're back on the map second. TSR are back, and they're marching towards this dragon. Might be able to push away Wukong, start up this dragon for themselves. TB back in from Vara, so 4Twinks. Yeah, they don't want to give this up.
Yeah, and now deep behind enemy lines is BB. He does have the Cyclone. Heretic going to be able to jump over the wall, but BB, the Blast Cone puts him in an awkward position. He takes a ton of damage and doesn't even get onto Heretic. This might be hosed, and I think you can accept that as the Twinks. You knew that you likely weren't going to be able to contest onto this with how long you stayed on the map. You got your gold. We'll take it.
2 Drakes over to TSR, so they stumble just a little bit, but they haven't completely lost their footing. It'll even up the gold a little bit, but the map state doesn't really get any better, as Toothbooth will need to phase rush his way away, and Aeon can cover. Nice little shock blast. Those are only going to get worse. Like, the damage is only going to ramp up for this Jace. He's only got 1 item. Eventually, when Wukong face tanks that, it's going to do way more.
Oh, dangling out once again with the Chains of Corruption. Good footwork from Heretic. Gets himself out of there in what is, I believe, his ACL debut. No, Lorem taking some harassment in the 1v1 against Tooth Booth. I think tanky enough, though, at this point that he can shrug that stuff off, as is the nature of the top lane, Rek'Sai. It's mid versus tops in both side lanes now.
So I've been talking about my concerns in this game frequently, but I have more concerns. So 2 Drakes for TSR. That means that they have 20 minutes to sit by and let Zeri, Sona, Rise scale if they need to. They can give Drakes now. The problem, like, you didn't have bot prior with Varus Bard. You weren't able to get any of the Drakes, despite your Ahri getting these kills. So now you can sit and wait. And that's already a problem, but TSR are already ahead. So 4Twinks somehow need to speed the pace of this game up. Maybe they just say, we're not getting dragons this game. Like we're not getting soul, sorry. We'll get the dragons that we can, but we need to be looking at towers. We need to be looking at finding picks around Baron, baiting TSR in and trying to speed up the pace of the game. That did a lot. That's 2 items, Jace. Nearly half hit the Bard support. But yeah, for 4Twinks, if they just sit here and wait for items, I think that they're going to run out of time.
No, I think you got a good point there. Oh man, that's another one. And a flash force by the Crescendo. Oof. Really feeling the pain there. It's War Cyclone. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's not like they have a crazy hard-winning side lane either, so it almost feels like GFP finding some Bard shenanigans is their best path here, inventing a dive out of nothing, finding a way to punish somebody
being creative
like Tooth on the side lane. And here's a Lorem going for the big trade, but yeah, you're gonna need a lot better than that. Oh wow, he commits the ultimate. He thinks he can solo kill? At the very least, he gets the ghost.
Yeah, that was a good amount of damage, but not enough. Maybe threatening that there was someone, you know, waiting on the side, so tries to get a summoner spell. You would prefer the flash, but the ghost gets used. Yeah, it's good. Use the ult, so that'll come back off of cooldown pretty soon. But yeah, I like what you were saying before. I completely agree. I think 4Twinks really need to be creative with how they play this game, because if you just play really standard league, you know, 1-3-1, try to get gold, you're outside laned, you're outscaled. The game is just going to come to TSR very easily. You know, 2 items Zeri is a massive problem now. So even though I was saying that TSR could just sit back, they absolutely do not have to, because they're not down in this game. If they were, and 4Twinks suddenly got the upper hand, TSR have this fallback. So for 4Twinks, they're going to need to show up to a fight very creatively with a solid game plan, finding a mistake from TSR. I think it's a lot down to execution about how 4Twinks are going to play this next fight, because if it doesn't go well around this dragon in a minute, it's soul point, Zeri's probably going to get more kills, and then the game becomes very, very dire.
Yeah, and I mean, and to your point, TSR, as long as they play at a distance, look for some poke with the Jace, they can opt out at any time. It's not a huge deal for them to give up one of these. So find out what the option is going to be. 4 members of each team going to be on this side. TP's available for both top laners. Ego, got to be at least somewhat respectful here. But so far, a little dance back and forth. Does look like access to the river will be given to 4T.
Yeah, and this is that situation you're talking about, you know. The half contest, the fake contest. Aeon can walk in, shock blast somebody. They don't have to be very scared about, oh, we don't have priority yet. Kappa has TP. He can TP to mid with that big shield. He's fine. Lorem comes up here too. We just get mid prior together. Flash in.
A flash crescendo in mid, but that might Ego up too far. The follow-up's not there. BB gonna be able to melt through Ego with some help from Cyclone, and they do not even need to use the Wukong Cyclone, not Cyclone the bot laner. Definitely shouldn't be using that abbreviation in this series. Or Cyclone gonna be able to jump on into the Rift Herald to maybe take it on in for the charge, and that looks to be in the cards here. Titan did use all the charges of Spirit Rush, but they will at the very least get some good damage onto the tower. Quick jump in from Titan to get the bonus. Almost working their way through the entire mid lane turret. Shock Blast is huge though. War Cyclone taken low, and BB not much better. They will be forced to back on away, and there's no dragon to be cleaned here. You've got to still be able to try to get out of this dragon if you're 4Twinks.
Sona has just respawned, walked all the way down. Now the healing is coming through. Zeri still has ult and flash, and what looked like an opportunity for 4Twinks. has turned it into a completely winning play for TSR. The range from this Jace is completely unanswerable right now. BB will need to go over this wall.
He wants to steal. Can he do it? Oh, it's stolen by War Cyclone. You've got to be kidding me.
All right. Well, it doesn't help the game state too much, but that's a big mental win. You type in chat, easy.
It's a mental win, and it's a game state salvaging move. It definitely doesn't put you in a good position, but you definitely don't want TSR in sole point.
It denies a worse position.
Sure, yes.
Hey, they'll get the mid tower too.
Like most wins, they stop things from getting worse.
That is true. But mid tower as well, so decent gold injection for 4 Twinks. I think I just need... I'm so hesitant. I need to be convinced that we can consistently kill this Zeri, that we can consistently get on top of the Jace, that he isn't going to be shooting enhanced shock blasts into Varus non-stop like we saw at that tier 2 tower, because Ego showed his ego. He completely sacrificed himself for no reason. He flash R'd when his team was nowhere near and died. Kappa should be fine here, stunned, but he's very, very tanky. But after Sona died, it still didn't go very well. We're still chasing onto Kappa. Is there enough damage? Maybe yes.
I mean, Alorum's dealing a lot here. Spear Shojin's a hell of a drug. And now the dash is committed backwards, so Kappa going to get some trade back, but the damage is finding its way here. Still, he's bought a lot of time, and he's getting in there. It's the flash all out coming through on a GFP. He's going to try to buy time on the opposite side. Meanwhile, Alorum duking it out with Aeon, and BB finds the squishy Sona. The first kill of the fight will go the way of 4 Twinks, and now Alorum back in there, this time onto the squishier Cassante in the all-out form, trying to escape, but here comes Void Rush. Alorum finishes off the kill, and if 4 Twinks get the fight 2 for 0, and it looks like Alorum might be adding a couple of children to his team.
Jumped in hammer form on a full health Rek'Sai and used his full combo flash away from Toothbooth. Nice alt from Titan there.
Oh,
whoa.
Trying to get himself a 5th son here. Can't find it.
Is this what we've decided? It's 4 Twinks and he's the father. He's
the oldest for sure. No hate Alorum, but gotta be him. I mean, come on.
So is he the least twink, or is he the most twink?
He's the most father, I think. I'm not gonna make any judgments. I don't know what all these guys look like. All right, I'm not gonna wade into that pool.
It's how they play, you know. It's physically sorry, it's not physically. It's like in game.
Sure. I'm not gonna wade into that pool either.
Because I feel like he's playing like a Chad right now, not so much a twink.
Sure. Well then, that can be also why he's the father. Sure.
I see. Very important questions that are being asked here on cast. I will say, Ego got absolutely one shot. I'm really surprised he didn't go diadem. I feel like having the extra mana is great. You would probably have it stacked by now, 20 minutes in. He's definitely not going in anymore, because if this second item does turn into a diadem, which I actually don't know the build path of it, I don't think it's this. If it does, that's really not great. That's not a good time for it. Maybe he forgot it, which is also, again, not great. But if he isn't going it, the Echoes of Hellier build doesn't make as much sense to me, because that's normally the combo. But Toothbooth...
Huh? Toothbooth taking to about half. Another charm connects. That might be the window. Here comes BB on the side, getting good damage onto Aeon. Aeon gonna have to flash away. Heretic is over the wall though, and both Cyclones have already come and gone. But here come the TPs from the top laners. Alorum going to be in the front line. Kappa goes and rejoins with TSR on the opposite side. And nobody will drop for this fight. TSR able to disengage.
Yeah, it really doesn't feel like TSR actually have the damage yet, which is surprising. I really thought they would just be able to one-shot Ahri, one-shot Varus, but it feels like they don't have enough damage to actually get through 4 Twinks, especially the front line of this Rek'Sai and the Wukong together. But the Dragon is up in 30 seconds. TSR will be able to reset their health bars, but they have no flashes at all. Bard has ult available. The big target for GFB to go for either the Ryze or the Zeri. If you can get the Zeri dash out, that would really turn this fight around. You could also go for the Jace, who has no flash. if these flash timers have been tracked correctly, which they should. You know, they all just got used. Actually, no, sorry, just the Jace one got used just then, but the others have had none for a while. Yeah, these shock blasts do damage, but 4 Twinks have priority over the river first.
And it is Dragon time, so they are going to go and get themselves another Mountain Drake. Worth pointing out, these are making Alorum and BB tankier and tankier, especially Alorum.
Yeah.
Will end up with some tankier items at some point in his build, and it's going to help you out, especially when you're trying to survive up against some of these shock blasts. These guys going to be responsible for tanking those up. And will be a second Mountain Drake. And, you know, this is where it would have been nice to win early with the 4 Twinks composition, because you could have Soul now. Imagine that world.
Yeah.
But not how things have worked out. Alorum going to claim a couple more turret plates as he does find himself feeling pretty good in this side lane up against Kappa now.
I'm looking Masters Plus builds for Sonar. Yeah, all of them have Diadem. So we'll have to see what ends up getting built. The scaling is still real for TSR, and the gold is very close in this game, but I feel like Pyden has been playing a really solid game so far. Not a massive amount of kills or assists, you know, just those 2 kills earlier, but a lot of the game is being controlled by how and when this Ahri is using charms, dashing forwards, you know. Yeah. This is also in the build, but it's after Diadem. I'm really surprised that this isn't Diadem, because the combo of the Echoes of Helia build kind of relies on you being able to constantly do out the healing, and as soon as you do damage with Echoes of Helia, the Diadem healing will proc Echoes of Helia. It's still a good item. It's still a good item. Like, it's not a bad build by any means, but there isn't a ton of actually enchanting going on here for the Zeri with items. You know, there's no like extra movement speed, extra shielding. There's no Ardent getting built, but Zeri with 3 items now, waiting on Infinity Edge on 4. That'll be a really solid spike. I assume this is also going to be Actualizer for the Rise. When those items get built, TSR's comp is very online, waiting for a certified Zeri moment, but hasn't really happened this game yet. A lot of these ults haven't been that impactful. Feel like Heretic hasn't been able to fully unleash yet.
Yeah. There's something real relaxing about watching Alorum and Kappa just duke it out here for 20 minutes. Kappa does get him underneath the turret for a while, gonna hold him here. Takes him to about half. That's about all you can get. He's got a tunnel network set up to be able to zip in and out with pretty ease of access, and does just regen a whole bunch of health in no time at all. So does cost Kappa his ultimate. Costs Alorum about half his health bar, and Alorum is willing to just continue to get right back in there, stack up his rage, heal a lot, and be annoying. I mean, this Rek'Sai top champion, they tried to get rid of it, but what is dead may never truly die.
Even with the Bramble Vest, like earlier, the healing wasn't a ton, but now it is. Kappa cannot stay in this lane. Like, has to ult, get his the infinite mana. Under tower now. Alorum has the tunnel network. Should be fine.
Still has the tunnel network, so he can get back over the wall. He's going to regen a bunch more as he burrows.
That's frustrating.
This champion is obnoxious, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you, TSR fans. War Cyclone did land the chains. Heretic's up too far, and there's going to be a great dodge from BB to get himself away, but the healing is too much, and Tempered Fate comes through too little too late. Heretic is still alive. Alorum is in there. 2 kills back to 4 Twinks. TP in from Kappa, puts him in the middle of 4, but he's tanky enough to be able to fight this out. Alorum's got to get the hell out of here, and he might not be able to find a way out. Titan going to land the charm, get some good damage back onto Kappa, but Toothbooth now taking the frontline role, stepping up, firing off the spells. GFP incredibly low, but no more bodies will fall. TSR only able to claim the 1 kill onto BB, and 4 Twinks will get 2 for their efforts. Oh my God,
the tower.
He's gonna finish off War Cyclone. Beautiful move from Toothbooth on the rise. But here's Alorum. He's back off the back of the TP, and he's got enough damage to deal with Aeon, as does Frozen Titan. There's the Void Rush. There's the kill onto the jungler. Kappa might be up too far now as the Spirit Rush is back, and the true damage pull back on the orb will get the killing spree for Frozen Titan.
All right, let's see. Do 4Twinks feel like they can do Baron? Heretic nearly has his ult back up, but that play starts. That was a really long fight. Starts with Heretic just pulling the trigger. Again, I feel like too early. Not a great ult. Flashes in onto War Cyclone, and War Cyclone just flashes away. The shielding and the healing from Sona is truly coming through now and is doing a lot. What can we do around this Baron?
Oh, Alorum just finds him! Just gets onto Love Ego, one-shots him with the help of the charm from Frozen Titan, and now the support is gone! Tooth Boots up too far! Heretic's getting chased! Doesn't have the summoner spells! Cut off by War Cyclone! An ace to 4Twinks!
And it's this front to back. It's the catch from 4Twinks. They consistently are able to hit the front line. TSR in the fight before, Zeri goes in. The shielding is great, but then these charms just keep raining in, and Alorum as well, the father of this team. And again, it's him who engages first onto the Sona, starts the fight forward when Heretic had ult again, and that could have been a bad scenario. You know, Zeri jumping into multiple people, ulting. And I was saying earlier that 4Twinks probably don't want to play for a soul. They're at soul point after this Drake, and we still don't have an Infinity Edge Zeri. We're building Hex Optics Zeri, which I don't understand. I don't understand why. Just go Infinity Edge. I don't love to talk about build endlessly, but I feel like there have been some mistakes in the builds here. Mostly now this Infinity Edge. That is so much of your damage on Zeri. I don't understand.
That's a fair point to be made. Alorum getting pretty large on the Rek'Sai here. It does have the Black Cleaver now completed as well, and kind of just immovable in these lanes. You can see he's just stepping up to mid, catching the waves up, and can shrug off this poke damage from Aeon like it's nothing. And the threats on the flank, it might be Ego up too far again. He gets hit by the charm, he gets one shot again, and the Sona's gone.
Oh, that's a big hand shock blast. Yeah, we were talking about the front to back potential of this comp. I just didn't think that it would be this effective. TSR feel all over the place throughout this game. They had a lead, and they've just kind of they let the game come to them a little too much.
Yeah, well, they let the game come to them, and it showed up. It's another pick onto the Sona, 2 in a row. Tempered Fate comes out, goes wide, but there's the Chains of Corruption onto Kappa, and if all 4 members join together, that Gasante doesn't look quite tanky at all. It's now 3 members trying to defend against this barren siege of 4Twinks and their father. They might be able to close out the game right here. Dashing forward, knock-up found on a Tooth Booth. Follow-up's not quite there. Ego is respawned, can try to keep this team typed off. But Heretic's got to be able to find the damage, and I just don't know if they've got enough of it. The second inhibitor turret, or Nexus turret rather, going to fall. They're just trying to handle all these siege minions plucking away at the Nexus, and they will be able to clear it out for now. It looks like 4Twinks are going to cede for now. They think their health bars are too low. They don't want to risk the game over this. They're going to go claim their dragon.
So far, every single kill of TSR's has gone to the Jace, and he's doing damage, but no one else is able to step up so far. It was Shield Bow, actually, not Hex Optics, so a little bit more survivability maybe, but I don't know. The Dragon is going to get started up here. This is going to be an objective bounty denied away from TSR. Soul point now, and like you mentioned very early when the Dragon stacking started for 4Twinks, these carries are becoming very tanky. The Rek'Sai is becoming extremely tanky with the extra Mountain Drakes. Like, we're looking at a potential 4 Mountain Drake Mountain Soul to the big shield on top of all the extra prots. This is a very tough position to be in for TSR, when I still think they have great scaling. But what a catch.
Bait finding its way on a Tooth Booth. Perhaps an even better target than Ego, but can they finish him off in time? Actually, War Cyclone only has the Bard for backup, gonna get sent to the Guardian Angel. Huge dodge from Frozen Titan. Actually, it was the Banshees that saved him from that crescendo. Flash back in from BB, triple knockup, but once again, the follow-up, it just cannot bring itself to him, and TSR going to get all 5 members out of there. Nobody going to drop, but it's the Guardian Angel of War Cyclone that pays the price.
Yeah, that was very, very close. That engage from BB was Very beautiful. That's a lot of healing. He is really healing.
He sure
but
is.
It's still like the damage is not enough. The ult from from Sona completely missed. I think he was timing it on the Zhonya's as well from War Cyclone. That didn't hit. And, you know, got eaten, like you mentioned, by the Banshees from Titan. Both teams so close to finding like an opening, blew open that fight. Neither actually able to do it. No GA now on Varus. The Zhonya's broken for Tooth Booth. Now there's a BF sword getting built up for Heretic. So it could be the GA, could be a BT. I wouldn't even hate overcapping crit to just get an Infinity Edge, but Baron's still a minute away. Dragon 3 minutes away as well. So a little bit of a siege here from 4 Twinks, but as long as we can catch these waves, mostly the mid and the bot waves, the game should still continue.
Absolutely, Alorum guiding in the mid wave here. The Nexus turrets have respawned, so Team Samsara thanking Riot Games for adding those to the game. As, oh, it's another catch onto Tooth Booth. This time there's a little bit more damage, but it might be BB who's up too far. Tempered Fate comes out, doesn't land on anybody. Another Shock Blast gets him low. Titan trying to get in here onto Kappa, but this Castante is still plenty tanky when only facing 2 members. Titan does still have the Spirit Rush. Heretic might be up too far. Now Heretic steps up, goes for the Lightning Crash, thinks he can one-shot GFP, but GFP will be able to flash away from the Ultra Shock Laser in time to be able to keep himself standing. And once again, the siege of the 4 Twinks and their father will be broken.
Well, stopped, but for how long? You know, 17 seconds on this Baron. 4 Twinks can spend any gold that they just earned, fill up the health bars, get new wards. They already have so much vision on the top side, very deep vision at that. As the Baron spawns, 4 Twinks will rock up to no audience from TSR. Hasn't been started up just yet, but if TSR want to walk in, they're going to need to start retaking some of this map, and they aren't doing it at all.
No, they are not. I mean, they've been forced to their base for so long. There's been 2 inhibitors down for the longest time. There were 2 Nexus turrets down for a while. It makes it very hard to wander out too far. And I mean, I think your point about the lack of eye edge on the Zeri definitely feeling very salient here.
She's going it.
Zeri, I mean, it's not even enough to one-shot the Bard. And now BB and War Cyclone, they're going to 2-man the Baron. They're going to get it.
We are overcapping crit for Infinity Edge. So I'm really confused. I really do not know what's going on this game with this build.
I mean, surely it's this last item, right?
It has to be. Well, there's no other crit item with, unless we're going Storm Razor with the BT, which I will be writing in the ACL general chat if it's Storm Razor. But even still, like, you're overcapping crit. It's Infinity Edge 5th item on the Zeri.
Cyclone just up far. Kappa sees him. Okay. Kappa flashes onto him. Kappa goes all out, and Kappa executes him. Tempered Fate is too late, but BB finds Aeon on the other side. BB going to get taken down before too long, though. Heretic going to be able to get him into the Guardian Angel, and Love Ego going to be there to back him up with the heals when he comes on out.
Nice.
It's the crescendo to hold down BB and claim the kill right back. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of TSR, buying them more space, buying them more time.
Okay, so that was Zeri's first kill of the game, which is insane.
Beast.
But very nice. Great crescendo timing, actually. And this might deny Soul. This is a massive fight here. Kappa has TP. He needs a TP in now, so we'll have the 30% shield. But 4 Twinks are rocking up. This needs to be secured or you're losing Mountain Soul.
There's no jungler for either side. Titan threatening to jump over the wall. They're getting antsy. They're backing away. GFP shows up with the ward, gets a little bit of vision for the team. Titan goes over the wall, looks for it, cannot outsmite Heretic. And TSR get onto Soul Point. Titan not able to connect the charm. TSR are out of there.
That's risky because the Orb of Deception's second hit does so much damage. And Heretic just stands there and says, no, I secure that. I want to know, can we see, I guess we'll see after this base, how close is Heretics to this IE? Because even though the build is awkward, if he gets to it, it is still, all right, it's still a great spot. So with the longsword, I assume he's going
could be
probably a BT. Does GA build out a sword too? It has, right? It does, right? It's 2 cloth armors, a sword for that little thing, so it could be a GA as well.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's going to be a while before either of those items, and I'm very hesitant to say that the game will go that long. We have 120% crit, or 25%, 125%. I think it's 125% crit.
Don't have
too much
math on
is the answer,
especially in our second 40-minute game in a row.
Yes. If there's a Gathering Storm anywhere, which I'm not sure if there is, it's getting value. This healing is absurd.
Yes, it is. Spirit Visage is a hell of a drug, and Alorum is having a great time as level 20 Rek'Sai in the side lane, just absorbing all the damage you can put out. Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty much negligible. It's net neutral at the end of the day, and he's holding 2 people over on this side of the map, so feeling pretty good. Nice shock blast on a War Cyclone. One of the remaining members will actually like take some lasting damage from that. I mean, TSR are holding on. They do not want to give up this game number 3. They do not want to potentially lose their first series of the ACL.
I promise this is the last thing I'm going to say about builds, but we are not genuinely building Staff of Flowing Water with Zeri, Jace, Cassante. Be real with me. That gives AP. That's the last thing I'm going to say about items. Baby. True.
Also, Zeri likes AP too. It's good for Lightning Crash. Good for Ultra Shock Laser.
Yeah, true.
So
anyway, I've been seeing a thing about everyone building Hextech Rocket Belt in LCK, and about like how they should start building it on like Gnar and Jhin because they have AP scaling as well. Maybe it's a similar vibe. Maybe we should get Hextech Rocket Belt Zeri, just more mobility.
Oh, I thought you were going to suggest it for the Sona.
That could be tech.
That would be dope. That would be good. Who expects the Rocket Belt reposition into Crescendo?
That's crazy.
Nobody
Rocket Belt flash to the side.
Yeah.
Carrier would do that.
Do the banana combo Sona ult.
Yeah. I like it. Well, we've got a minute and a half on the Baron, 2 minutes on the Dragon. Very hard to like clear against Zeri, Jace, Ryze. Push in and actually siege the base. Maybe you could get some inhibs back, but that is still like, how much are you realistically getting?
By the way.
Oh, QSS. Okay. Well, you know what? Fair play. I like that item.
No, I think that makes sense. You'd still.
I genuinely think that the only way Zeri dies is by getting hit by CC, and if she can cleanse Chains of Corruption or a Bard Stun, a Charm, and continue to fight, the CC chain doesn't continue, and genuinely Zeri can pop off there. She has enough damage.
You can't cleanse the Cyclone, and you can't cleanse the Unburrow.
That's true.
And
that is true.
Those are big problems as well, so still got to keep your wits about you somewhat. As we are
actually just doesn't take damage.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, actually. And the Overlord's Blood Veil coming through, by the way, for a little bit extra AD.
Like,
yeah, I mean,
he gets hit with a shock blast.
Alorum is on Bruiser build, right? Like,
yeah, that's ridiculous. He gets hit with a shock blast, and then he hits his Q in the Borrow form, which is like the range one, and that alone gives him enough charge to fully heal the shock blast damage back.
Yes.
Wild. 30 seconds on the Drake. Everyone has flash. Everyone has ults. This is going to be the fight that decides the game. We are not going to flip. We're not going to, I'm going to go Baron, you go Soul, and we play for Eldar. That's not happening. I refuse. We are fighting this objective.
Oh, Toothbooth over the wall with I don't even know what vision. Somehow gets a lockdown on the GFP, and GFP faces the punishment. Ultra Shock Laser snipes GFP down, and it's a numbers advantage for 4 Twinks out of nowhere.
It was the Phaelite, actually. The Phaelite got placed down. You can see it right there on the left. He has vision over the wall there. Really nice pocket of vision. Alorum is going to try to end the game, at least do some damage to the base, while down below, the Dragon has started.
Out. Titan was looking for the pick on the Heretic, didn't quite find it. Cyclone gonna knock him up. Heretic cut off from the rest of the team. Back over the wall with the Spirit Rush.
Toxic.
Looks like they got onto him, but Heretic was able to flash back over the wall in order to keep himself safe. Alorum is an unmoving object inside the enemy base. He claims both inhibitors, and the Dragon's not even done yet. He's gonna take the fight to Kappa. Dragon still here. War Cyclone cut off from the rest of the team. How the hell did you get down here, man? As Cyclone trying to group up with the rest of his team. They step forward out of the Dragon. BB cannot win the smite fight. Soul goes to Aeon, and Alorum shows up to the fight on the back end. Tooth Booth going to 1v1 the jungler. Alorum finally drops down against the might of 4 members of Team Samsara, and it's going to be a huge fight win for TSR. They might be able to win it off this. I'm not sure. Titan's back in. Titan looking to trade on a Tooth Booth. Will be able to get him and brings the heal along with it. That could have saved the game.
Tooth Booth wants to continue the game forwards. He wants a longer game. He walks in there, gets charmed, but Alorum tries his hardest to put pressure on the map, but no one budges. Eventually, he has to TP in, and TSR have too much damage, and they will start up. Hang on, Ari's going for a TP in the end.
Face? What are we doing? What's going on? Frozen Titan's here. He finds himself face to face with Kappa, and I guess they're just gonna blink at each other. I don't know.
We go again! Another fight later! We can't get the Baron, and the game, Gordo, does not end!
Oh, no. There's a huge wave touching top right now, by the way. Somebody's got to go deal with this. All right, BB's back. Alarm's back. They got it. The inhibitor will not fall.
AD carriers are within 100 gold of each other at 46 minutes.
And they're both full build. It just doesn't matter. I mean, at what point do you start converting your Varus into on-hit Varus?
Probably now. Probably now.
Yeah. Start thinking about that maybe a little bit.
I will say the Seven's Fang is nice. There is a lot of shielding. We're actually starting up the Baron as 4 Twinks. It's just Alorum though. He can tank this forever, I guess.
Yeah.
With his healing.
Yeah. I mean,
so he's just holding it there.
Yeah, I mean, he could sit here, tank shock blasts and ultra shock lasers, and continue to keep plus on health while tanking the Baron. So, yeah, I mean, he could solo this on his own, honestly, if you leave him long enough. And I think that's actually the plan. 4 Twinks have Alorum soloing the Baron right now, while TSR is cut away from the rest, and now they're going to move on to it and see. Hey, it's at half HP. Alorum's been working on this for the last 30 minutes. Can we finish it off? There's Tempered Fate. Doesn't connect on anything. Aeon Crystal did have access to the spell shield. Going into the back line is Kappa trying to lock down the jungler. Will secure the Baron before he drops, but he does drop. And Heretic goes on a killing spree for it. A minute-long death timer onto BB. Realm Warp into mid lane. TSR looking to full send it and crack open the base. They're going to get that inner turret in no time flat. The recall's taking a little while, even with the Baron buff at their back. 4 Twinks to the front. They're going to be able to get back over here and try their best to defend, but Alorum's locked down. He's picked off. Tooth Booth makes it 2. Charm comes through, but it's only on a Kappa. They don't have the damage to be able to finish him off, and that's going to be the mid inhibitor falling down in short order. TSR 5 versus 3, looking to see how much more they can take.
It's a very hard end, Gordo, because 4 Twinks have Baron and they have the super minions through mid and bot, so they get this inhibitor, but how much more can they get? They look like they do want to try for an end, but instead they will just walk away. Don't we all? I mean, it's Mountain Soul for TSR, Baron for 4 Twinks. We are going for another Elder game.
Yes, we are. It's a 48-minute, almost 49-minute game. It's probably going to take to 50 before it ends.
Where am I gathering storms? Where are they?
You were right to request Gathering Storm this game. I give you all the credit in the world. Didn't we say Tooth Booth had it?
If he does, that would be big. If Sona has it, that's big. Honestly, you know what's funny? When I was talking about builds, Sona unironically could have built tier and still have finished stacking it by now.
Yes. For sure. Could have stacked a couple of tiers. Could have gotten all 3 tier items and probably stacked them all.
Isn't there 4? 4 tier items?
There's 4? Oh, there are 4. Forgot about Diadem. Even though that's what we're talking about. But yes, there are 4.
This game is probably long enough that you can have 4. I don't know how good that build is. Maybe if your name is Ezreal. If your name is Ezreal or Ryze, maybe Ryze could do it too.
Yeah. That's the closest to being good, but still probably not good. Like, Ryze can't use Muramana. I mean, I guess it works on spells, so maybe you can. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's more mana.
Siege up on the top side. Big wave coming in towards the last remaining inhibitor turret of TSR, and they're kind of getting poked on their way back. They're going to be a little late to this. I think Titan and GFP are going to be able to take it. They do claim it. BB threatening an engage. TSR show up too late to save their tower, but are in time to save their inhibitor. Toothbooth a little cut off from the rest of the team. Finds Alorum. Can they one-shot Alorum? He's just going to tunnel his way out of here. Doesn't have any rage to regen, but he's plenty tanky anyway. There's the Crescendo, connects on it too. Alorum falls down. BB has to defensively Cyclone, and Four Twinks and their father are forced off once again. Their siege continues to be broken against the backs of TSR.
Even though Toothbooth doesn't have any pen, he does enough damage that when the rest of TSR rocks up, Alorum does get one shot. Baron has just worn off, and they didn't take any inhibitors, so there's no more super minions pushing in favor of Four Twinks. And there is super minions pushing in favor of TSR. Elder is in 30 seconds, and Alorum will be dead for majority of the start of that fight. He has TP, but by that point, how much of the Elder has been taken? How much map control has been taken? There are wards behind though, Gordo. You can see on the left there, there are wards in the mid lane and above. He's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, that does mean it's Aeon's job to clear the bottom wave. I guess that's fine. Dragon's up, jungler's not here, but...
When it's gonna do this? This is Elder.
Yeah, I don't think they can rip it. There's a huge wave building in the top side. I guess Alorum can go and deal with that, but then he's not TPing in. The Elder's already been started. Four Twinks don't seem to have vision on it. Now they do. They see that it's happening. They need to be able to get BB in there. Aeon has rejoined with the rest of the fight. Kappa is here.
Alorum TPing.
There's the TP. Alorum coming into the middle of everything. Tempered Fate going to slow up the Dragon. Alorum has to immediately flash back away, but they do have the full team here. Chains of Corruption goes wide. Doesn't find its target. Dragon resets. Another blue ward comes across the wall. Alorum stuck inside the pit, waiting for his tunnel. Needs to be able to get back over. Is finally able to do so. And now the damage trying to come through over the wall. The poke from the Jace not really having too much of an impact unless it connects onto the squishy bot laners. Eon continuing to throw these out. The Elder's been started up once again. It's Heretic who's pumping some DPS into it from the opposite side. Kappa covering this ramp. Will not let any of the Twinks or their father through. Finds the stun, looking for BB. Knows he's the one who could steal the Elder. If they can force him off of the play, TSR can secure this objective, no problem. And Kappa's all over him. Finds another stun, looking to pull him away with the all-out. Toothbooth cut off. Here's the Cyclone. Goes into the stasis, trying to melt through these carries. The damage isn't there. Somehow Toothbooth stays alive. He flashes back over the wall. Into the stasis goes BB. Can he get back over? Can he keep the fight going? No, he cannot. Eon's going to be able to shut him down. Charm connects. Another Tempered Fate onto the very same Elder Dragon, but it doesn't mean anything. The Dragon kills off War Cyclone, and it's claimed by Aeon. Down goes Titan. TSR, after waiting 53 minutes defending their base most of that time, will win their fight, will claim the Elder, and will take the series win.
Finally, a fight that is a statement of this series, Gordo. That was incredibly long, and TSR will march in and end the series. But what a hard-fought game by both teams. 2 back-to-back 50-minute games. I didn't even get to see game 1, but what a series.
I demand a best of 5 before this season is over between these teams. What a crazy outcome. What a crazy game this was. What a crazy series this was. After I think a pretty solid performance from Samsara in game number 1, it ends up as a dominant showing at 50 minutes plus, but otherwise a complete crazy back and forth mess between these two teams. What a game here. I can't believe I forgot there was a War Cyclone got executed at the end there. We didn't even talk about it.
He did.
Notice that there's one more death on on Four Twinks than there are kills.
Yeah, he got I think he died to either the dragon. I think he died to minions.
I thought I saw him die to the Elder. I thought it was the Elder was just pinging away at him.
Over the wall? That would be so unfortunate.
Maybe I just misread the thing, but oh man.
Either way, that was a ridiculous end to the game. Both teams fighting. None of TSR had TP, so they couldn't get into the base to end on the minions, super minions that were pushing in. So Ari has to back, and then she TPs back in for the fight. 2 separate Tempered Fates came out in that fight. One to start it, and one to hit the Elder later on. That was ridiculous.
I'm losing my mind. I can't believe what we've witnessed here today. But Team Samsara, a big win for them at the end of the day. Assuming the seeding committee knows their stuff, this gives them a pretty clear shot at least top 2 in the group. They have not played Conviction Star yet. Very interested to see how that series is going to go. But what a great start to the season for them. This was their first series that they got to actually play, and they come up with the win.
Yeah, that was a very, very intense game. I think that for the most part, we had very controlled game from our blue side. We had, finding a pick, Ari charms, and then you couldn't end on the Baron. You couldn't collect the soul, which was a massive part of that. Then you got an Elder fight. Like, it's so tough when this late game macro comes in, when it's these small mistakes. Your jungler being dead in a fight, so you can't do an objective in time, or you gave over soul right at the end, that do make massive impacts towards the game. And unfortunately, there is always that Zeri Rise Sona late game that we were talking about the whole time that did end up coming through with the Infinity Edge purchase. I think Alorum as well, there was like a moment where all of a sudden he was paper and he was just getting one shot by everybody, which it was really strange because he was really tanky the whole time. No one could kill him. And then something happened. I don't know if it was the Infinity Edge or not, or just items getting completed, levels getting completed, but then he really just couldn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was there were definitely a couple of moments where he just got locked down too and just got hit by 5 people at once, which is pretty different than tanking poke in the side lane. But yeah, I mean, what a series. Would love to watch that one back, find out what really happened to that Rek'Sai every single time. Huge shout outs to Kappa and Heretic, by the way. Both of these guys in their ACL debuts, if I'm not mistaken, and really high level performance up against some real experienced veterans here. Great laning phases from Kappa, doing very well up against Alorum. Former LCS player there. If you like to look at those kinds of accolades, super great debut for him. And I think Heretic held his own, was super responsible on these picks like the Zeri, allowed them to get to these 50-minute cases without getting over aggressive and losing out there.
Well, I mean, that was a really fun sub in. I'm glad that I got to catch the end of this series, because I agree with you. There needs to be a best of 5 between these 2 teams, because that was crazy. I know that it's tough to say this, and it's easy to say with hindsight, but Gathering Storm, guys, I'm just saying, it would give you, at 50 minutes, I actually don't know how much, but a lot of AD/AP.
Oh, yeah, it would give you a lot for sure. I don't want to do the math right now, but it's definitely a lot. We'll have an interview with Ann Crystal in just about a moment. We're going to throw to a quick break here while we get that set up, but stay tuned. We'll hear from Team Samsara Aeon in just about a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We are joined by victorious Aeon off of Team Samsara. Looks a lot like Bok, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But Aeon, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the win, brother.
Thank you. It was a hard-fought game. That's
what we got to start with. You got back-to-back 50-minute games to finish off the back end of this series. What does it feel like happened after game number 1 to where all of these games started going so long, and how do you feel like your team responded to those situations?
I feel like since we just had like a seminar yesterday about staying focused and just overall managing our energy levels, I feel like we did really well as a team, especially coming back from our game 2 little blunder at the end.
Yeah, nice. So the Jace jungle, I mean, it's something that we saw a lot, at the beginning of this year around globally. Is this something that you guys still really like? Is there a specific reason that, without going into too much detail, obviously don't want to get you to review strats, but do you favor the Jace jungle? And it's because you did really well on that pick.
I would say I still think Jace jungle is really strong, especially since I play it a lot, and it's just something my team really enjoys playing, and we can low-key flex it, so it seems pretty chill for us.
Do you start to feel doubt when you're 6-1 and the rest of your team has no kills and you guys are getting your base busted open at 30 minutes into the game?
I can't say I didn't have negative thoughts, but from one of my biggest takeaways from my seminar yesterday was that spending my energy just thinking to having negative thoughts is really bad for my mental focus. So I just have to put trust in my teammates, and when we get to 3 rounds, we can probably start playing the game, and that's all I could think about. That was it.
Well, you guys around that Elder Dragon, right? You got Soul after losing quite a few dragons in a row. You got Soul. You got into a good position where you're starting Baron. You're starting Elder, and their base is getting broken. Talking about focus, was it really focused? Did you guys have a really clear objective there? You brought in, you TP'd your top laner in early. The enemy base is getting broken, so you can't TP, and you're going for the secure, obviously, or the fight afterwards or before. How are the comms and the vibes around that fight?
I would say they were very focused, and we were very calm about just keeping the dragon around a range where they feel interested, and so we're just waiting for the minions to just take their base. I would say, as a team, this is something we've probably struggled on for a long time, but today it felt we were very calm in these very stressed situations. Yeah,
nice. Congratulations. It was a good win. It was a good game. It was a good series to watch.
Oh my goodness. It was a great series. A ton of fun for everybody to watch. Definitely happy that we were streaming you guys today. Last word goes to you, and anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to say before we close out ACL for the week?
I'm gonna shout out to my coach for letting me pick Jace. We haven't scrimmed in a while, so having the ability to play Jace was a lot of fun for me personally, even if it felt a little hard at times during the game. And shout out to my teammates. I love my teammates, even if we don't really scrim. It's okay. It's okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Congrats, Ian. I'll let you go be with your teammates right now. And thank you very much for hopping on, and congrats once again on the win. To everybody at home, thank you all for tuning on in to tonight's broadcast of the ACL. We will be back next week, same bat time, same bat Twitch channel, and with week 3 and with more and more games as the rest of the stage plays its way out. Shout out once again to ZenMarket for sponsoring the league. Shout out to Quacks, who had to leave us after 1.5 games. Shout out to Jay Beto for coming in and bailing us out, as well as Bok for helping out in the interim. Shout out to Caddy on Prod, and we will see you all next time.
Bro, just use ZenMarket.